late. So they know the size of the task in front of them. Daniel Farker has decided that the same team that beat Stoke should be able to do the job against Coventry. It's Krul in goal. It's Aarons, Hanley, Gibson and Yanulis across the back. Skip, McLean and Vrancic the midfielders. Buendia and Cantwell wide. Pukki up front. Varden, Zimmerman, Kintia, Sorensen, Tetty, Rupp, Dow, Hernandez and Ida are the substitutes for Norwich City for this one. Delighted to have Darren Eadie commentating on this one with us, watching from another studio just down the floor below where I am here at the Forum in Norwich. And Darren, what about these sort of games when you are playing for a team that's going so well in the league? Everybody wants a piece of you when you're top of the table. You can't rest on your laurels. You've got to be absolutely up for every game, haven't you? Ready to work and ready to fight.
Yeah, and I think sometimes people talk about these games being harder, which they can be. But I think at this level of the season now, that when they're getting into the sharp end, they're not far off away from that now. Every game is difficult. Every single game you're playing, you're coming up against teams who are either, looking to make sure they stay in the league or pushing for promotion or playoff place. So look, it's going to be a tough one for Norwich tonight, away from home. Luckily there's no fans there, which does help Norwich to a certain extent, but. I look at Norwich's team and I've been pretty bullish about it over this season. I don't see a better squad in the Championship. So it's down to that group of players. But we all know that there's going to be a lot of twists and turns and ups and downs before the end of the season. But hopefully tonight's not one of them.
Mark Robbins makes a change in goal. Ben Wilson returns for Marco Morosi, who's the first choice, but has had a few injury problems this season. He's on the bench. So Wilson in goal. Rose, McFadzean and Hyam, the back three, will play with Julian Da Costa as the right wing back. Jordan Shipley, the left wing back. Jamie Allen and Matty James in the centre of midfield. It's Gustavo Hamer on the right wing. Callum O'Hare on the left and Tyler Walker up front. Mark Robbins ringing the changes from a side that was beaten 3-1 by Cardiff at the weekend. We're just about to get underway in the Championship. Norwich City not in yellow and green tonight. They're in their third strip, which is the one that's mainly black, but it's got the pink and purple colours on it. Coventry all in sky blue. And the way the Championship works, Darren, I think when you've played a team that's just had a poor result, the inconsistency at this league, that's not always a good sign, isn't it? But because they're just going to want to bounce back, having lost so badly on Saturday.
Yeah, and especially the way Mark Robbins has stated in his, it wasn't down to the way they played. He thought it was an intensity and actually a desire to play, which gave them the poor result. So he'll be making sure they're fired up tonight as much as Norwich were against Stoke in terms of their performances. You saw them coming out quick. I'd imagine Coventry will do the same tonight because they certainly want to put one over Norwich.
And the game is underway at Norwich City as we look at it on our monitor, going from left to right. It's Max Aarons, the fullback, who plays the ball down the line straight away, and Coventry across no-nonsense defending inside the first 10 seconds, sticking it in the stands to give Norwich City a throw in. And already we can see Daniel Farker coming to the side of the pitch just to reinforce a few early messages for his team. Aarons for Norwich from the halfway line, plays it back and gives an early touch to Hanley and across to Gibson, and we see Norwich in familiar position here, playing the ball right the way across their back four, and it's Yanulis who will now play the ball forward early along into the channel on the left-hand side, and it's gone behind for a goal kick. Vrancic was chasing it, a willing runner in that left channel, but the ball has gone behind. I think definitely, Darren, it wasn't just Emi Buendia being back in the side. There was a change of approach from Norwich on Saturday, wasn't there? I'm going to say much more direct, and by that I don't mean they played long ball, but they looked to get the ball into the penalty area much earlier than we've seen in recent weeks.
Yeah, and I think it's something that we've probably said for quite a while, isn't it? We love those goals when they're scored and there's 30 or 40 passes to get there, but sometimes the earlier you put the ball into the box, and you're right, I thought it was evident, and that was shown by how early Vrancic was getting into the box as well. They wasn't just putting balls into nobody in there. There was actually numbers for Norwich in the box too. So yeah, certainly a different approach.
0-0, you're with BBC Radio Norfolk watching Coventry City against Norwich City, and the ball is squirmed out of play there off Shipley, who's come in on the left-hand side for Coventry to replace McCallum, who's on loan from Norwich, and he's won the throw-in for Coventry on the left-hand side, deep inside the Norwich half. Shipley coming back into the team, youth team product from Coventry, with McCallum being out for this one. And they brought Tyler Walker in up front, who's had a couple of months out with injury just recently, but just getting back to fitness now, and decided by Mark Robbins that he's fit enough to start this game. Good defending there from McLean, working hard inside his own half to break up a Coventry attack. Cantwell can't keep control of the ball, and it's back with Coventry and Shipley on the left-hand side, and eventually back to Dominic Hyam, one of the three centre-backs, who plays a curious ball right across the width of his own half, and it bounces out for a throw-in. I don't know if we can blame the pitch for that one, can we, Darren? He just hoisted the ball across the pitch, didn't he?
I think you can. Just watching it there, to say, just as he's gone to ping that one across the pitch, it has just nicked up in front of him and made him mishit it. And it is it's probably the worst pitch I've seen so far this season. It's not in great condition at all.
And it's a familiar problem up and down the country this season as Norwich try to beaver away on the left-hand side with Cantwell. He's tackled though, and the ball is cleared away by Coventry. It runs towards the halfway line. Norwich needing to be careful here, and Nulis has played the ball back to goalkeeper Krul in an orange goalkeeping kit today. He rolls the ball out to the left-back position, and the Canaries try to build from inside their own half. A nice ball into the middle of the pitch, and you can see how careful the Norwich players are being in possession of the ball. They've managed to get the ball forward there via Vrancic, but in doing so he's committed a foul, and it's a free kick to Coventry around halfway. Phil was asking you about this a moment ago, Darren, but it does seem to me on that surface, Vrancic there, that first touch that players are taking is very careful at the moment, isn't it, with 3 minutes gone?
Yeah, as you naturally can't help yourself when you walk out onto a pitch. It's okay when the game first starts because the pitch has been rolled, but as the game goes on, it starts to get forced.
Yanulis has been caught. He cleared the ball, and a yellow card straight away for Da Costa, who the right wing back, who as Yanulis cleared the ball away. It was one of those where the player was committed to the challenge and stayed committed, and Yanulis had cleared the ball, and Da Costa went right through him there, took him out, and the right wing back for Coventry has been booked within the first 3.5 minutes, and I don't think he can have too many complaints, can he, Darren?
Well, I mean, to me, I guess one of those ones. Yanulis is already committed to striking the ball forward. He's swinging his leg. Da Costa, he does put his leg across him. I don't think he's shown any kind of studs, so he's not kicking the bottom of his foot. It's almost the side of his foot, really. But yeah, once somebody's already swinging and you leave your foot in there, the referee's going to stamp down on it pretty early.
Yeah, Millwall's got a goal off against Birmingham elsewhere. Norwich almost giving the ball away deep inside their own half. Yanulis has picked himself up after that challenge. He's okay, and Skip plays the ball back to Gibson in his own penalty area. Now it is with Yanulis, the left back, who had mixed fortunes on Saturday as he gets used to life in the Championship, and he's been put under pressure there, and he's conceded a throw in. And we've seen Da Costa booked already for really pressing Yanulis, and I wonder whether that is just something that Mark Robbins has looked at as Norwich are given the ball on halfway. Sloppy play from Coventry. Buendia plays it towards the left-hand side. It's then switched quickly by Cantwell towards the halfway line, and Skip, who's recovered from that eye injury he suffered on Saturday. He finds Aarons on this right-hand side. Back it goes into the Norwich half with Grant Hanley, who takes a touch and feeds it towards the centre circle. Doesn't pick out Buendia, but it has run, rather fortunately for McLean. You can see how difficult both teams are finding it at the moment to get any sort of rhythm going with their passes. That pass from Hanley really got stuck, and the way that McLean just played the ball across to Skip, it was bobbling along the surface at St Andrews. Norwich have got to get to grips with this very quickly as Hanley has the ball on the edge of his own penalty area, feeds it across to Gibson, and no harm done there. Coventry just standing off Gibson a little bit, allowing him to have possession. It's been played towards the halfway line. Now worked quickly around the corner, and on the left-hand side, Norwich could be in. The ball's up towards the edge of the penalty area, looking for Pukki, who gets tackled, and the ball breaks behind. And it's a corner for Norwich, the first of the game. That was impressive there, wasn't it, Darren? I'm not sure a corner has been given, actually. I think it may have gone off Pukki. Goal kick it is. But that was impressive how Norwich had control of the ball at the back, and they snapped into life very quickly there.
Yeah, I think it shows, as much as the pitch is a stinker, if you move the ball quick enough and in terms of your runs as well, you still can carve teams open with quality play. And they did that there from the left-hand side and cut Coventry open, but unfortunately didn't get the corner.
Yeah, actually, I think it was offside. Looking at where the goalkeeper, Wilson, has just taken the free kick from, and probably would have been a corner, but actually Pukki had come from an offside position. So Wilson's just hacked the ball forward, the goalkeeper. It's hit the corner flag at the other end of the pitch and gone out for a goal kick. So neither side really settling into this one yet. 6 minutes gone. Coventry City 0, Norwich City 0 at St Andrews. Norwich have possession. They're deep inside their own half with Max Aarons, who skips past one challenge and then has to turn back towards his own penalty area and play it across the edge of his own box, more confidently than we saw with Yanulis on Saturday. And it's been collected by McLean, who plays the ball forward early. Cantwell's come into a central position. He's in the centre circle. He's got two Coventry players around him. He goes down. He gets a free kick. And he was in great form on Saturday, Todd Cantwell. Got that fine goal against Stoke. And I'm sure we'll be looking to pick up from where he left off. And he's keen to take this free kick quickly. In the end, Coventry had him well marshalled, so the ball had to go back into the Norwich half. Here's Skip on halfway. Little exchange with Buendia. And Skip goes back to Hanley and eventually back to Tim Krul. And it's the usual patient style that we're used to seeing from Norwich City. No tearing hurry to get the ball forward, although Gibson now does put the ball into the Coventry half. There's a header from a Norwich player. It's gone loose and will be collected by James in the midfield. Coventry with an opportunity to try to come forward with purpose, perhaps for the first time. They're looking after the ball well here on halfway. Buendia goes to try and close down Hyam, and now Campbell and Vrancic hunting in packs. Norwich have won the ball back inside the Coventry half. Vrancic can't get the pass through the first time. Has another opportunity now. Plays it towards the left-hand side. Anulis is forward for Norwich City in that position. It's now worked up towards the edge of the area, but Norwich can't get on the end of it. James, the Coventry midfielder, breaking up the play well, and it will be the Sky Blues who will come forward over halfway. An early ball played forward there by the Hamer, and it's gone all the way through to Tim Krul, and it remains goalless on BBC Radio Norfolk between Coventry and Norwich City. Just threatened to click into life there for Norwich, didn't it, Darren Eadie?
Yeah, well, it's actually a fairly fast-paced tempo from both sides. In terms, you can see Coventry, the tempo there. The worst nightmare for a manager is to criticise his players and say about their desire. You can't do anything about that. But so he will have certainly had them fired up for this game to get them closing Norwich down a lot quicker, which they are doing at the moment. But Norwich have still moved the ball pretty well, even though it's on a poor surface, and will continue to do that. We know how Norwich like to play.
Yeah, and the poor surfaces we've mentioned on a couple of matches recently, and I know a couple of clubs have actually put out statements, not apologising, but explaining the state of the pitches, and it's all to do with the quick turnaround we saw in the summer. We didn't have the usual May till August without any football, did we? It was the season ended in July and started again in September, and that meant the groundsmen, and we all know how possessive groundsmen can be of their pitches, Darren. I'm sure you've been on the wrong side of them a few times. They didn't get the usual 2 or 3 months to work on the pitch over the summer, and it's now that's starting to show. Coventry have possession on halfway. They've worked the ball into the Norwich City half now, and we'll look to try and probably come forward for the first time. It's Gustavo Hamer in a central position. Wide to the left-hand side it goes, and Shipley. Back in field again to Hamer, who aims the ball into the penalty area. It's going to bounce through and be comfortable for Krul to collect. So Tyler Walker, the Coventry striker, slightly on his heels there. Back it goes again to Krul, Norwich goalkeeper, who doesn't stand on ceremony, just passes the ball out with the side of his foot to Ben Gibson. And Gibson will play the ball forward, but he's given it straight to Coventry here. Campbell back helping out defensively, and his presence is enough to force a misplaced pass from Coventry. And now it will be Aarons in the right back position for Norwich City. Back to Hanley in his own penalty area in the 10th minute. Coventry City 0, Norwich City 0 at St Andrews. And the ball has been played out by Norwich towards the left-hand side. Inside their own half still. Coventry happy to allow the Norwich defenders to have it. They're not putting pressure on the ball high up the field. Looking to certainly keep that midfield as congested as possible and not allow Norwich's creative players any space in that area of the pitch. It could be a bit attritional, this game, if it continues like this. Norwich are not falling for it at the moment, are they, Darren? They're happy to keep it in their own half for as long as possible. It's a bit of a standoff at the moment, a bit of cat and mouse.
Yeah, I think so. But also, from the defending side point of view, from Coventry, you look for triggers. And when I say that, you mean when that ball is played across, is it bobbling? Is it look like it's not going in a great ball into someone? Because then you can close down quickly. But at the moment, when Norwich are fizzing the ball about as they are, and it's decent balls, that they're just sitting off and keeping their shape. But looking for that opportunity and that trigger, when actually there is that one stray pass or one stray touch, they will close down a lot quicker.
Norwich just bypassing the midfield there with a long ball up that has gone straight through to Ben Wilson, the former Cardiff goalkeeper. He's played, this is his 15th league appearance of the season. That's the most league games he's played in any season. He's often been the backup goalkeeper at clubs, but doing enough to come back into the team tonight, despite the usual number one Marco Morosi being fit. There's an offside against it was Walker, and a free kick for Norwich City halfway inside their own half. Norwich City with a hectic run of games. They play 4 matches over the next couple of weeks, and they are all against teams currently in the bottom 5 of the Championship. So an opportunity, but we're already seeing in the first 11 minutes of this one how hard Norwich will have to work. 0-0 the score at the moment. No early chances for either side. The ball's up towards the halfway line. Buendia for Norwich City, quickly trying to pass it forward to Aarons. It's been intercepted. Coventry, though, have given it straight back to Norwich City. And McLean is able to find Buendia on the right-hand side, just inside the Coventry half. Good tackle on him from Hamer. And Coventry now play it back to their goalkeeper, Wilson, who strikes it long up towards the halfway line. It's come off the back of Grant Hanley there, but he's done the job. He's got it to Gibson. And now Yanulis, the Greek left-back. The ball sticking on halfway. Cantwell did enough to find Vrancic. Vrancic in behind the Coventry defence. Cantwell could be on here. So could Pukki. Pukki's into the penalty area. Across to Cantwell, and it's hit Cantwell on the heels and has bounced back, and the goalkeeper will sweep it up. That looked like a real chance. It was played behind Cantwell, and he couldn't quite hook his foot round it. Would have had an open goal.
Oh, it's a brilliant chance, wasn't it? And great play, and Timo Pukki striding forward, and Todd Campbell does the right thing. I actually thought Timo was going to shoot himself. He decided to try and roll it across the Campbell, who was probably just a little bit in front of him, and bounced back off his heels. But yeah, should really been a goal.
And how costly could that be to Costa for Coventry? Crossing in, Tyler Walker's shot is brilliantly blocked at the near post. Shipley gets the ball back into the penalty area. There's Buendia back defending for Norwich City. End-to-end stuff. Chances at either end there. It's a free kick, I think, in the end for a foul on Skip. But wow, that was a great chance for Norwich. Pukki bursting through. We're going to get another chance to see it now. Pukki and Cantwell both beating the offside trap. Pukki got onto it, drew the goalkeeper, played it across to Cantwell, and it sort of somehow seemed to go between Cantwell's legs with a goal at his mercy. That was such a good chance. But what do you put that one to, Darren?
Oh, but, to be fair, it looks like Norwich did everything right. It's a great ball through by Vrancic, and Timo Pukki did everything right. He's drawn the goalkeeper, rolls it across to Todd. Todd just gets a little bit ahead of himself, and I can only blame really Todd for that one. Really should be finishing that. It's a simple finish, side foot into the back of the net. He'll be frustrated with himself. He hasn't managed to score that one. There wasn't a bobble or anything. He just almost like he just got a little bit ahead of himself and didn't get his feet sorted out in time just to roll it into the back of an empty net.
I think he's not going to get a better chance tonight, is he? But I'm not saying he won't get another chance, but he won't get a better one. 0-0, but that's just what Norwich are capable of. They sprung into life there very quickly. Now they're at it again on the left-hand side, attacking, level with the Coventry penalty area. Tackle comes in. It's broken for Buendia on the edge of the penalty area, who works it back to Skip, who's in a bit of space in the midfield here. Skip, head up all the time, passes it along the ground to Aarons on the right-hand side, forward from fullback, up towards the corner of the penalty area. Takes on Shipley here. Aarons tries a cross, it's blocked, and behind it goes, and this will be the first corner of the game, and it will be a Norwich City corner. They should be 1-0 up. As it is, it's 0-0 in the 14th minute. Aarons thought about a quick corner, but instead he is going to allow Henry Buendia to play this ball into the penalty area. Hanley will go up from the back, scored a goal recently away at Cardiff to get Norwich up and running. He's in the penalty area. So is Gibson as Buendia delivers deep, but it's headed away well by Coventry. Cantwell chases it back towards the halfway line. He doesn't get it, and Coventry could be on the counter-attack here. They did leave a couple up for that corner. In the end, Cantwell's done a good job to slide in and prevent Coventry from breaking any further than the halfway line, and it will be a throw-in. Interesting there, Darren. You see so many teams bring everybody back from a corner. It was almost a surprise when Coventry cleared it to see somebody up there. It's not an approach many teams seem to use now.
No, it's not, and it can be an effective one as well, because if you leave one person up, you've got to leave at least two defenders back there to kind of manage it. So it does create opportunities. But yeah, as I say, very few teams seem to do it now. I know Norwich like to bring everybody back for set pieces as well.
15 minutes gone at St Andrews. It's Coventry City 0, Norwich City 0. Norwich have had a golden opportunity to go in front in this game. The ball is with Coventry at the moment, who will perhaps see that as a bit of a fortunate break for them, and they've worked it towards De Costa on this right-hand side. He tries an early cross, charged out, and the ball does bounce out of... No, it doesn't bounce out of play. De Costa keeps it alive against Yanulis. The ball looping up in the air. I think most had given that up for a throw-in. In the end, Yanulis is able to see it behind, and it will be a goal kick instead. But we saw when Sorensen was left back, that was often the area of the pitch that teams targeted. Do you think with Yanulis being so new to this league that teams like Coventry might look at that area of the team and just try and test him?
Yeah, I think so, perhaps. But I think a lot of teams probably have right wingers a little more effective than left wingers, just generally because there's less left footers out there. So I think it's an area which... Yeah, I think it's generally an area where teams that have a lot of strength is down the right-hand side of their team. But I think at the moment, Norwich are managing Coventry pretty well and actually moving the ball about pretty well. And they've just got to be patient at the moment. They should be 1-0 up. Todd should have scored, but still 0-0.
Still 0-0, 16 minutes gone. We've just seen Campbell play the ball towards the right-hand side. It was intercepted. Norwich have got a throw-in deep inside the Coventry half, which Aarons will take. Is it down short to Vrancic, back to Aarons, who plays the ball back towards the halfway line. And it's Gibson emerging from centre-back, who will click that ball towards the Coventry penalty area. It's headed out of the box. Skip does well to find Vrancic. It's back with Skip now, 35 yards from goal. Plenty of sky blue shirts back. So Skip and Aarons have to carefully try and pick a way through, but it's a careless pass from Skip. And Coventry have got it up now towards Tyler Walker, their striker, who tangles with Hanley. Walker goes down, and the referee has given a free kick here, and he's booked Grant Hanley. Wow, that looked... well, Hanley can't believe the decision here. He's arguing with the linesman about that one. A yellow card has been shown. That is a big call, isn't it, Darren? Because if the referee's decided that is a foul, Hanley was not far off being the last man there. That's a big call. There was contact around the collar of the shirt. What do you think? Is Hanley fortunate to stay on there?
Does drag it back. I mean, you've got Ben Gibson, who's not too far away from him, only a few yards to his right-hand side. So whether the referee's given him the benefit of the doubt and think Gibson was back in contention to challenge, but you're right. I think if he's clear through on goal, if he doesn't have that challenge, and perhaps that could have been a red card.
Wow, it was about 25 yards from goal, but it was a clear run, I thought, for Walker. Yes, Gibson was on the scene and might have got back to cover, but it was one careless pass from Norwich. Coventry got it up towards Tyler Walker, and he was away and tangled with Hanley. And the referee has given a free kick to Coventry, central position, 25 yards out, and he has booked Grant Hanley, which is a big call. Hamer and Shipley will stand over this free kick for Coventry. Can they threaten Tim Krul for the first time in this game? It's Hamer's free kick. It's straight into the wall, and it's cleared by Campwell. And in fact, the referee spotted an infringement in there and will give Norwich City a free kick. That is already a big talking point. 18 minutes in, Coventry 0, Norwich 0. Walker away. It was more clumsy than anything else from Hanley, wasn't it? It wasn't like he sided him down.
And that's the only thing I think of, Chris. Was it perhaps the fact that it was just that? It was more of a clumsy coming together and a little bit of both, really. It's a foul. Don't get me wrong. I think it is a foul. He did tug him back slightly, but perhaps that he's so far away from goal and Gibson was tracking back as well. He felt that it wasn't worthy of a red.
It is a big call. It is Coventry 0, Norwich 0. So the two big talking points we've had as Hanley plays the ball back to Krul there on the edge of the penalty area, nearly sells him short, but Krul tiptoes off his line and is able to clear the ball away nicely. And then Hanley with a misplaced pass. It's almost as if that slightly got to Grant Hanley. What's just happened? I'm sure he'll soon settle back into it. He's managed to find Skip, and it's now with Campwell on halfway. And here's Max Aarons, the Norwich right back, who gives it to Grant Hanley. More composure now. But, as soon as he heard that whistle go and saw the referee marching towards him, Hanley, and knew the free kick was been given, I imagine his heart would have been in his mouth, because it was a real... it could have gone either way, that call from the referee, as to which colour card to give out. Aarons plays the ball forward. It's blocked on halfway. Comes back to him, though. He should get another chance here. He's been taken down, and it's a free kick to Norwich in their right-back position. Hanley has been booked for fouling Tyler Walker when he was through. But at the other end, it's Todd Campwell, who should have put Norwich City in front. Pookie laying the ball across to him, an open goal, and it stuck between Campwell's legs somehow. Norwich come forward on the left-hand side, trying to threaten here for the first time in a while. They're level with the Coventry penalty area. The ball worked back here for Buendia to twist and turn on the left corner of the box. He's gone through a couple of challenges. Now, Inudis will play the ball high towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away. It's fallen on the edge of the penalty area for Buendia, who shot his charge down. He keeps it going, though, and Norwich will try and play the ball towards Buendia. Low, into the penalty area it goes. Buendia is going to chase his own pass here and force Coventry into the desperate clearance out for a throw-in. Buendia worked that into the penalty area. The two players missed it, and he nearly raced onto it. And now trying to get round on the left-hand side here, but can't keep the ball in play. Buendia, busy as ever. Everything Norwich do on the attack, he's at the centre of it, and it's bounced behind for a goal kick. 20 minutes gone. Puff of the cheeks from Daniel Farker as we see him standing on the side of the pitch. And feel his side should be 1-0 up. So we'll maybe feel slightly fortunate that they're not down to 10 men with that Grant Hanley tangle with Tyler Walker a few moments ago. It's a goal kick to Coventry, which Ben Wilson, the goalkeeper, is taking his time over. Former Bradford goalkeeper, beaten Carrow Road by a Mario Vrancic penalty in the league earlier this season, and twice inside the first 10 minutes in the FA Cup back in January when Norwich won 2-0. And with McLean and Kugel on target. Nothing like that in terms of a fast start today from Norwich. 20 minutes gone, 0-0. Here's Campwell, lovely little turn, 10 yards or so inside the Coventry half, but he's got so many players paying attention to him there. He's played the ball back to Hanley, and now Skip gets involved just over the halfway line for Norwich City. You can see Coventry have not so much packed the defence, but certainly packed the midfield. They're making it so difficult for Norwich's creative players to find any room on what looks, from the pictures we're seeing, like a boggy St Andrews surface. Norwich attempting to come forward perhaps on the left-hand side. So infield to Skip, and back it goes to Gibson. And then Grant Hanley, who's now on a yellow card. He plays the ball inside there to McLean, who marches into the centre circle and keeps going. Fancies a little run forward here, and he's certainly got Norwich going. Skip plays the ball towards the left-hand side. Crossing opportunity, perhaps for Yanulis. He's level with the penalty area. He's got 3 to aim for in the box. One of those is Vrancic from the byline, tries to cut it across. The ball's bounced behind. And the referee's decided, Vrancic has got his head in his hands, he's decided that the last touch was off the Norwich City player and it's behind for a goal kick. So we're just about halfway through this first half. Coventry 0, Norwich 0. What are your impressions of it so far, Darren Eadie?
Well, I think considering all circumstances in terms of the pitch and what they're coming up against a team with a little bit more desire today, Norwich have moved the ball about pretty well on it, to be honest. They've created one really good chance where they should have scored from, and particularly in that final third, they're looking to move the ball pretty quickly. There doesn't seem to be kind of a laboured build-up for Norwich today, particularly as soon as they get into that final third. They're looking to get an attack or a shot on goal as quick as they can.
Coventry 0, Norwich 0. On BBC Radio Norfolk, Norwich in possession inside their own half, passing it forward nicely there towards Campbell, who's just inside the Coventry half. But as soon as he gets it, he's got at least 2, sometimes 3 sky blue shirts swarming around him. He has to retreat into his own half and then plays the ball towards Hanley, but it's a poor pass and it's bounced away for a throw-in to Coventry instead on the left-hand side. That's certainly, Darren Eadie mentioned about the triggers earlier on, and it seems to me as soon as Norwich get it to either Buendia or Campbell, that is when the Coventry team in the midfield comes to life and puts them under pressure. Wilson, the goalkeeper, passing the ball out for Coventry. It's gone towards the player on the right of their 3 defenders, Rose. He's been put under real pressure by Pukki and has to go back towards his goalkeeper, who clears his lines emphatically there, Wilson. That's a big kick up towards the halfway line. It bounces. Hanley gets a good head on it, but it's Hamer for Coventry, who nods it down. And forward will come Coventry. Walker, the striker, plays it out towards the right-hand side. Da Costa arriving on that right wing. He'll curl the ball into the penalty area. There's a header goalwards over the top. And a goal kick is given. It was a congested 6-yard box. It was O'Hare who got on the end of it. Very tightly marked by Max Aarons, and all he could do was divert it over the bar. But Coventry showing a bit of intention there.
Yeah, really good ball in as well from Da Costa, and it's brilliant defended by Max Aarons. He's actually got the run on him. The Coventry attacker's got the run on Max Aarons, but what he does, he makes sure he uses his body really well, just leans into the player, puts him off his header, just enough to make sure he can't get a clean header on it, because he's inside the 6-yard box. If Max Aarons wouldn't have been leaning on him, I think he would have had a free header at goal.
He's got a couple of goals this season. Callum O'Hare, former Aston Villa winger, on loan with Coventry last season, and impressed enough to make that move permanent, and was certainly in a good position there. The left winger getting in the 6-yard box for a cross from the right, and it was only that Max Aarons was alive to the danger that prevented that from being a free header from in the 6-yard box. Norwich get a free kick on halfway, 0-0. Starting to get a few chances at either end of the pitch now after a cagey start. Vrancic on the left-hand side for Norwich, halfway inside the Coventry half. Plays the ball back towards the halfway line. And McLean hits a long, ambitious diagonal ball across here, and it's a great pass, and he's picked out Aarons, right edge of the penalty area. Now Buendia works the ball into the box. Pukki turns nicely from the angle. He's gone down, Pukki. Referee takes a close look at it, doesn't give the penalty, and Coventry bring the ball away. That looks a tight one. Not too many appeals from the Norwich City players. Coventry not standing on ceremony. They're quickly trying to spring the counter-attack and get it up towards Walker. It's been intercepted, and Norwich are back in possession with Buendia on halfway. He's taken down, and that's a free kick for Norwich City in the centre circle. Buendia, for the first time tonight, we see him complaining to the referee about the treatment that's being meted out to him. We spoke to him on Saturday. He's well and truly used to that sort of thing in the Championship now. Definite free kick. Might even be the game's 3rd yellow card coming out here for that challenge on Buendia. Referee's having a long talk to Hamer. I don't think he did produce the yellow card in the end, but you've been there, Darren. This is all part of the job, isn't it, in the Championship if you're an attacking player?
Yeah, absolutely. With someone like Buendia's quality, I said during the week, the quality he's got, people are going to target him. He has to get used to that. And, sometimes you don't mind him getting sent off if it's a horrendous tackle, as bad as that is to say. It's the silly little petulant ones he seems to do when he's frustrated. And that's the part of the game he's got to cut out.
McLean on halfway for Norwich City. Spins away from a couple of challenges, and then he's gone down, and now he's showing his frustration. And it's a free kick. There are not many prisoners being taken in the midfield in this game, are there, at the moment?
I think as well the refs has almost given a little bit of grace, isn't he, with their time and their challenges because of the surface, because of the awful weather as well. I think he's almost saying, look, I'll give you a little bit of tiny leeway just to say that your challenge might be mistimed because of the circumstances as well.
Norwich have got to make sure they don't let frustration get the better of them. 0-0 after 26 minutes. The ball is with Buendia, who will play it towards the edge of the penalty area. Cut out nicely by Coventry. And they've got it now with Hamer, deep inside his own half. Fouled by Buendia. And the free kick goes the way of Coventry. Matty James, the midfielder, who's full of industry for Coventry, on loan from Leicester. It's his 9th game of 2021. And 3 of those 9 have been against Norwich, because he played for Barnsley at the start of the year, then changed clubs, went on loan to Coventry, and he's played twice for Coventry against Norwich. And they're on the attack now, Coventry. Shot from 25 yards out, harmlessly bounces through to Tim Krul. Gibson was there just to get any sort of block in, and it never looked like threatening Krul's goal. Krul's got such a good record this season. I know he made a mistake in the last away games, but 20 appearances this season, and he's conceded just 11 goals, Tim Krul. In fact, the one he let in at Carrow Road on Saturday, first time he's been beaten at Carrow Road since October. That's how good he's been for Norwich this season. I know he's had an injury during that time, but still, it's an impressive run. Norwich have possession inside their own half, drawing 0-0 with Coventry. Almost giving the ball away, but Campbell alert to it, comes back into his own half, finds Skip, who pushes the ball out towards the left-hand side. He knew this has got to work hard to keep this one going for Norwich City, and indeed all he can do is put the ball out for throw-in. Keep getting put off by the shots of the stands here at St Andrews, and it always looks like there are fans there, but there are cardboard cutouts they've got, which a lot of clubs are doing while these games are being played behind closed doors. Cardboard cutouts of fans visible in the stands at St Andrews. Here's Yanulis, the Norwich left-back, playing the ball forward early. Buendia tried to gather, but couldn't quite. And Coventry, with Hyam stepping out of the back three, able to come up towards the halfway line. And then McFadzean just sprays the pass towards the left-hand side, and Shipley up towards Walker, the striker, who's already caused Hanley a little bit of a problem tonight. And now Coventry trying to come through the midfield with Allen, but he's been tackled. And Norwich have got it up quickly here to Buendia. In behind the Coventry defence. Pukki's onto it. Pukki's got goal side, and Pukki has scored for Norwich City. That was typical Norwich. They had the possession on halfway. It was quickly played in behind the Coventry defence. And then he was away, Pukki. He was one-on-one with the goalkeeper. He kept his composure, finished nicely across the goalkeeper, Wilson. And Norwich City are in front. It's Coventry 0, Norwich City 1. And that is trademark Teemu Pukki.
Yeah, it was absolute classic Teemu Pukki, and the brilliance about it was he'd started his run probably 3 or 4 seconds before Emi Buendia even received that ball. He's already on the turn, looking to run in between the two defenders. It's a brilliant turn by Emi, wonderfully weighted pass for Pukki just to pick the ball up just on the edge of the 18-yard box, waits for it to roll in 6 or 7 yards, slides it past the goalkeeper. Brilliant finish, and no more than Norwich deserve, to be fair. They've carved open Coventry on 2 or 3 occasions really, really well. Persisted in looking for those slide passes, and Buendia is just brilliant at it. But you have to say the quality of Teemu Pukki to make that run. He knew exactly where he wanted the ball, and Buendia delivered it perfectly.
The old 1-2, Buendia and Pukki linking up again superbly. And even though Coventry have worked hard, we'll come back to that in a moment, because they're trying to respond now with James playing the ball forward. It's going to go behind for a goal kick. Even though Coventry have worked hard, even though they've made life difficult for Norwich's creative players in this game, that's the second time that Pukki has got in like that goal side. The first time he laid it across to Cantwell. This time that wasn't an option. He took it on himself. And well, how many of Teemu Pukki's 55 Norwich goals have been like that? Slide rule pass. He was onto it, finished superbly. And Norwich City in front at St Andrews. Pukki, a couple of goals on Saturday, and now scoring again today. And when he's in the sort of form that he seems to be rediscovering now, he doesn't miss those. Norwich in front at Coventry with that goal from Pukki. 14 for the season for him now. And Norwich have possession on halfway, play towards the halfway line, and then eventually back to Hanley. And now Norwich can play with a little bit more confidence, having taken the lead in this game. Not that Coventry were causing them too many problems defensively, just that header from O'Hare that was over the top, and the one moment where Hanley got in a tangle. But apart from that, relatively comfortable for Norwich, and now they have the lead. And McLean plays the ball forward nicely. And here they come again. It's Buendia up to Vrancic towards Yanulis, who's arriving in the penalty area, and his shot wasn't far away. I think Wilson had it covered. His fingertips weren't too far away from it. It's gone over the top. But Norwich turning it on there. Yanulis looking for his first Norwich goal. It is Coventry 0, Norwich 1, and playing with real confidence. But incredible, really, there. Darren, that's 19 goals away from home in the league Norwich have got this season, and 13 of those 19 have either been scored by Pukki or Buendia, and they were both involved there, and they are such key players for Norwich.
Yeah, they are, and when you've got that quality in the side, you have to use it as much as possible. But again, I think that since the day where Younes had that shot, I think it shows just the quality of him and the balance he gives to the side as well. When he gets forward, as does Max Aarons on the right-hand side, just gives Norwich a really good balance and causes Coventry or any team they're playing against a lot more problems, which then opens those gaps for Pukki to be able to run centrally.
Well, does so well. Beats a couple of challenges. Slides the ball to Aarons, who comes forward with purpose from the right-hand side. Buendia's made a run in front of him. Right edge of the penalty area now. Emi Buendia gets Aarons involved in it. Back out to the right again, and Buendia. Coventry have got plenty back, so Norwich just shift possession back into the midfield and eventually back into their own half via skip to Grant Hanley. But with a one-goal advantage now, Norwich can afford to be patient. Gibson comes forward from the halfway line, lays the ball off, and eventually it comes back to Hanley and Coventry standing off now. Eventually one of the players, Walker, or Hamer I should say, decides to try and close the ball down, but by the time he does, Norwich have already got it to Aarons, who brilliantly goes past Shipley on the right hand side. Aarons on the attack. It's a high ball into the penalty area, headed up in the air by one of the defenders. Might fall for Yanulis in the box here, left edge of the area, has it under control now. Plenty of defenders back. He's giving it to Buendia on the edge of the box. A twist and a turn from Buendia. And now an opportunity for Vrancic to get it across. Buendia couldn't quite take it in his stride. His shot is blocked and behind for a corner. That goal has changed the game, hasn't it? As they often do. Norwich City are playing with such confidence now.
Well, I think it's the freedom of Buendia and Campbell and Janulis and Timo Pukki. They're all running with real intent. There's some really good 1-2s playing around Coventry's 18-yard box, and they can't get near Norwich at the moment. There's some brilliant stuff being played by Norwich. Really good away performance so far.
And you can see the heads have dropped for Coventry. They've worked so hard in this game to limit the opportunities, and they're still 1-0 down. Corner from the left-hand side for Norwich. Buendia bends it in. There's a header down. It's blocked in the 6-yard box, and it's cleared away. Campbell's gathered it, 25 yards out. Keeps the attack going by finding McLean on the right-hand side. Curling cross from him, just too high. I think for Hanley would come round the back, and behind it goes for a goal kick. So we've got 12 minutes to go to half-time. Coventry 0, Norwich 1. Pukki's got the goal, and at that point I made a moment ago, Darren, Coventry, they have limited Norwich. They've worked so hard, and they're still behind. There must be spells in games when teams are playing against Norwich in this sort of form where the heads are going to drop, but it is only 1-0.
Yeah, but sometimes as a manager, and I'm sure Mark Robbins will be feeling it now, you have to hold your hands up and say, look, we're playing against a side here that's buoyant at the moment. They've had a great result of the weekend. They've got quality players, and sometimes you have to admit you're just against a better team, and I think the class is showing from Norwich tonight.
Ball picked up by Wilson, the Coventry goalkeeper, who was given no chance at all by that effort from Pukki. Brentford have just gone a goal up at QPR through Ivan Toney, so Brentford remain hot on the heels of Norwich City. Here's Vrancic in the midfield, getting it up towards Campbell, who goes down, but the referee waves play on, and Norwich have got it up towards Pukki in the penalty area. Back heel from him is picked up by a Coventry defender, and they will clear the ball away with Rose up towards the halfway line. Gibson misses the challenge there, and Coventry have got an opportunity. Walker sprints into the channel on the right-hand side, but it's too far in front of him and goes out of play for a throw in to Norwich City in their left-back position. Norwich in front. Brentford in front as well in their local derby at QPR. It's too early yet to be really concentrating on results from elsewhere, but it's once you get to this time of the year, Darren, you know who your rivals are going to be at the top. Every goal, every match seems to mean so much more once you get into this stage of the season.
Yeah, it does, because you can see the finishing line, I guess, in sight. And you generally know, we know the 3 or 4 teams now that are going to be in and around the top of the table come the end of the season. And, Norwich is likely to be one of those. And we've seen Swansea play, we've seen Brentford play, and you see Watford now coming up. And, you kind of think generally they're going to be the teams that will be challenging at the end of the season. So, yeah, you always look out for their results first after you've made sure you've won your game first.
Buendia releases Aarons on the right-hand side. He's halfway inside the Coventry half. Plays the ball inside to Buendia, who wasn't able to take possession there. And in fact, I think as he tried to keep going, James collided, and the free kick has gone against the Norwich player. And it's a free kick to Coventry, halfway inside their own half. Buendia off balance, ran into James, and the free kick goes the way of Coventry. Whenever Buendia makes a challenge, you always slightly nervously look at the referee, but no card has come out on this occasion. In fact, it's not Buendia who's been in bother with the referee today. It's Grant Hanley is the player you could say is fortunate to be on the pitch. I'm sure Rob and Phil will have more of a discussion about that at half-time, and we'll ask for your views as well. Hanley, that was a nervous moment when he tangled with Tyler Walker, who went down, and it was given as a free kick, but a yellow card rather than red, when he looked like he might have been clean through. Coventry lose possession on halfway. It's picked up by Vrancic, still so congested around the middle third of the pitch this game. Buendia on the right-hand side, tries to play a diagonal ball low into the box. Pukki puts his hands up, apologises for not being on the end of it. It's gone through to the goalkeeper instead. Here's Rose, the Coventry defender. He goes long. Hanley with a towering header, and in fact there's an offside there as Hanley wins the header. Callum O'Hare had gone up there, and he's been penalised, and Norwich City will try to build from the back again. They have a 1-goal lead. If you are just joining us, it was a 7 o'clock kickoff. You're with BBC Radio Norfolk. Coventry 0, Norwich 1. Timo Pukki after 29 minutes. The difference between the two sides at St Andrews, where Norwich will play again in the middle of next week on Tuesday. They've got Rotherham at home on Saturday. Hanley plays the ball back to goalkeeper Krul, who passes it back out to the Norwich skipper. A touch from Hanley. and he works it towards the right-hand side, and Max Aarons back again to Hanley, who's been quickly closed down by O'Hare. Back the ball goes to Krul, and now he's been quickly closed down, but Tim Krul's got the kick away towards the halfway line. Neat little touch there from Vrancic just to take Campbell away. He crosses the halfway line now, plays it towards the left-hand side. Inudis has gone forward quickly to join in this attack for Norwich. Corner of the penalty area. Pukki dummies it nicely. Vrancic arriving on it. His shot goes over the top. He wants a deflection. He wants a corner. And not quite sure he's going to get it, but he was certainly in a good position there, Vrancic. And Norwich at times in this game, Darren, are recapturing the sort of form we saw on Saturday.
Yeah, and you can see the confidence flowing through them at the minute, Chris. I think the ball was rolled back to Hanley in a difficult position. You wouldn't have blamed him for just smashing the ball up the pitch as far as he could on this surface. Rolled it back to Tim Krul, had belief in him, and took the ball into midfield area, went wide to Giannoulis, and all of a sudden they're creating at the other end again. You know, they stick to the way they play. And when they're full of confidence and they're playing like this, Chris, you can't see any teams getting back in it because, you know, they're playing with such freedom and even on a difficult surface, they look like they're going to create chances every time they go forward.
Corner given. Buendia from the right-hand side delivers deep for Norwich City. There's a header. Boy, what a save that is. But Pukki from the follow-up blasts the volley into the ground and it's cleared away. Header goalwards there. That was so nearly 2-0. I think Wilson, it was the goalkeeper who scrambled back to get a touch. Buendia puts the ball back into the penalty area. First header is won by Coventry. It's not away yet. It's James on the edge of his own box. And eventually one of the defenders does put a foot through it. McFadzean to clear up field. Gathered by Aarons, though. Wide to the right and Buendia. Norwich City are sensing an opportunity for a second goal before half-time here, I think. Aarons plays the ball to Campbell. A little touch from him just to shield the ball and bring Buendia back into it. McLean is 30 yards from goal in a central position. He's got an option through the middle there for Vrancic. He tries to play it first time and the ball sort of loops up in the air and that allows Coventry to get a defensive header in. And now an opportunity for perhaps Coventry to break with Allen bringing the ball out towards the right-hand side. Norwich have gone in quickly to close them down and they've soon won it back on halfway here, Norwich. Campbell playing it back to Gibson. And now Giannoulis gives it back to Gibson on the edge of his own penalty area. In turn, it goes back to Tim Krul. That was so close to being 2-0 a moment ago. But now Hanley's getting himself under pressure in his own penalty area. He's passed it out to Campbell, who does an audacious little turn and flick on the edge of his own penalty area to bring it away. That was brilliant from Norwich City. They were under real pressure, and a couple of touches of the ball later, they're at the other end of the field, and Buendia's been chopped down. He's got a free kick halfway inside the Coventry half. James fouled him. And sometimes the way Norwich City defend, it almost defies belief, doesn't it, Darren? That they don't do anything that you're taught in the textbook. They are playing clever flicks on the edge of their own penalty area, and when it comes off, it just looks so good.
Oh, it looked brilliant, didn't it? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous skill from Todd Cantwell to be doing that on the edge of his own 18-yard box. Sells a dummy to the Coventry player, almost does that little Cruyff turn. It's fantastic. And then again, they break, and Emmy's bursting away and gets a free kick up the pitch, and you just have to admire it sometimes. It's been a brilliant away performance because, you know, to follow up from Saturday, does people sort of think is that a flash in the pan of Norwich, you know, just produced one decent performance in amongst a few not so great ones, when actually tonight they've played just as well. They've played brilliantly.
Free kick, 5 minutes to go to half time. Buendia puts it into the penalty area. All Coventry have let it run, and there's a chance at the far post side netting. And that was an opportunity, whether it's been deflected behind for a corner. Vrancic, I think, got on the end of it from Buendia's free kick. It bounced right through the 6-yard box. He came round the back and it was deflected behind. Gibson, it was actually, who got there and, needed a touch from a defender. So a corner has been given for Norwich City on the left-hand side. They really are turning the screw here. They already lead by a goal to nil. 4.5 minutes to half-time. Buendia's corner from the left, right under the crossbar, and it's headed away and behind for another Norwich corner. They are piling on the pressure at the St Andrews Stadium, leading 1-0 and getting a series of set pieces now. Having said they're piling on the pressure, when Hanley had the ball at his feet in his own box a minute ago and he had two attackers bearing down on him and he didn't look in control of it, I wonder whether we might be about to see a Coventry equaliser. But no, Norwich find this incredible composure. One turn from Cantwell on the edge of his own area, and now we've got a sustained spell of pressure at the other end. Norwich with the corner. Buendia to take from the right-hand side, delivers into the penalty area. Goalkeeper's punished it. He hasn't dealt with it, and there could be an opportunity for Pukki. It's deflected and cleared off the line with the goalkeeper completely out of position. And in fact, the whistle has gone, and a free kick's been given to Coventry. So I don't know that would have counted. But, well, the way this is going, you'd back Norwich to score more in this game, wouldn't you? The way Wilson completely made a mess of that, the goalkeeper, didn't he? Having just seen it again.
Yeah, it's a greasy ball that comes in, isn't it? He doesn't hold it very well and it sort of drops it and has to chase out, and Timo Pukki gets on it as quick as a flash and sort of hit it through him, bounces off his legs and up and cleared off the line. But again, it's all Norwich City.
It is. Here come Norwich again. Aarons towards the edge of the penalty area, into the box, and Campbell, who gets tackled. And now Coventry attempting a counter-attack with O'Hare. He collides with Skip, and Skip goes down, and the referee says free kick to Norwich City. 3 minutes to go to half-time. Coventry 0, Norwich 1. Mark Robbins will be willing the half-time whistle at the moment, your former Norwich teammate, because he knows Norwich are looking control of this game.
He'll be willing the full-time whistle, Chris, I tell you. This is one of those games tonight when he looks at his team and he's thinking, we're up against it tonight. And then, he won't be. There's not too much he can say to his players at half-time. They've shown endeavour. They've closed down quickly, but it's just the quality of Norwich tonight. Even on a difficult pitch, they've moved the ball really well. The work rate's been really good, and when they have got the ball, they've moved it really quickly into attack and created some really good chances. Yeah, I think the one thing you'd say for Coventry is it is only 1-0, and well, that's the case, as we've seen. A little slip at the other end of the pitch, you can still be in the game. So they definitely don't want to concede a second before half-time, but Norwich are doing their best to make that happen. And the ball's been played up again towards Pukki here. This time it's dealt with by McFadzean. Gets the ball back to his goalkeeper, Wilson. He seems to be getting good distance on the kicks tonight. He's made a good clearance there. Hanley tries to find McLean, but hasn't. And it's picked up by Coventry, and an opportunity for DaCosta to come forward from right wing back. We've not seen him operating in the Norwich half for a while, and in fact he thinks better of it, and instead Coventry will keep possession. 2 minutes to go to half time. They've gone all the way back to their goalkeeper Wilson. It's Norwich who lead 1-0, and they really have played some impressive stuff at times in this first half. The ball played up towards the halfway line. Norwich win it straight back. There's such a hunger about this Norwich team this evening. And now Campbell plays the ball up towards Buendia on the edge of the penalty area. Buendia back towards Campbell in the D with his back to goal. He's under real pressure here, is Campbell. But he's playing with confidence. And he's released Aarons on the right-hand side. 2 players to aim for in the penalty area. Cross comes in. Goalkeeper again. Doesn't really deal with it first time, but manages to get enough on it to chase it out to the edge of the penalty area and then catch it. And then he launches it up the field looking for Tyler Walker, but it's going to go straight through to Tim Krul. Well, if Coventry get in at 1-0, I think they'll be relatively happy here, won't they, Darren, the way Norwich are going? Yeah, it's been they've actually been they've been ran ragged this first half, and you can only feel as a player you do want to get off the pitch and regroup and hope that Norwich don't come out as quick in the second half. But at the moment, Norwich look in total control. They do at the moment, but they've not added that second goal. And Coventry have possession on halfway with James, on loan from Leicester. He's got it again here, Matty James. There's a back to McFadzean, who was brought into that heart of that 3-man defence. They didn't play on Saturday when they were beaten handsomely by Cardiff. Ball played forward early there towards Walker, who heads the ball down, looking for some support, but he's looking a bit isolated out there at the moment. And Campbell is able to drop back and have possession of the ball. And what's impressed me about Todd Campbell tonight, as he runs the ball away and a throw-in is given, what's impressed me about him, Darren, is he's getting possession all over the pitch. He's not just doing his job in the final third, is he? He's coming back, he's helping out, and he's often the man that is actually starting the attacks. Yeah, but again, I think that comes again from the balance on the right-hand side and the left-hand side. It gives that freedom to Todd and Emmy to almost not have a free roll, but when they're on the side of the pitch, they can drop really deep at times if they need to, because they know there's an outlet in terms of a left-hand side. If Todd drops really deep, you've got Giannoulis on the left-hand side, and if Emmy drops really deep on the right-hand side, Max Aarons is running beyond him. So I think it's an accumulation of all those things and the positivity of Giannoulis. Pukki's stolen possession. Pukki's nicked the ball, and he's running through into the penalty area. Team of Pukki for 2-0. Plays it across to Buendia. That is 2-0. Yeah! Well, Pukki won possession. Almost on the halfway line. He burst through. He had Buendia alongside him, and he was caught in two minds there, Pukki. He didn't go for goal this time. He laid it off to Emmy Buendia, and the old 1-2 have combined again. The first goal, it was Buendia who made it for Pukki. The second time, all about the hard work of Pukki, across to Buendia. He doesn't miss that open goal, and it is Coventry City 0, Norwich City 2, and that is no more than the Canaries deserve. I'd say, well, that's not what you always get from centre forwards in the Championship, is it? Normally there can be lone rangers up there, but one thing you've got in Timo Pukki is working really hard deep as well, and he's come really deep there to win that ball. So he bursts forward. Emmy Buendia, as soon as Timo got that ball and looked like he was running forward, he needed some support in the box. I mean, Timo could have probably had a shot himself, but again, as he did to Todd really early on, just rolls it with a simple little side foot pass with the outside of his right foot into Emmy with a simple finish, and no more than Norwich deserve. And that's half time. And you could see that, you could just feel that second goal coming. And we made the point a moment ago that Coventry would have been desperate to get off the pitch at 1-0, because the longer that half went on, there was only going to be one team going to score a second goal of the game, and it was going to be Norwich City. And, well, the goals have come, and Norwich's best moments have all come in the same way, knocking the ball in behind the Coventry defence for Pukki to run onto. Coventry had a warning when Pukki put it across for Campbell, and he missed the ball completely in the early part of the game.
but Norwich really took confidence from that. They've grabbed this game. They've taken control of it. Pukki away from a Buendia pass set in the 28th minute, finishing brilliantly for 1-0. And then Norwich running Coventry rack in and finding a second goal in first half stoppage time. This time a Buendia tap-in from Teemu Pukki's pass after Pukki had won the ball back in the centre circle and then just charged forward with it and put it on a plate for Buendia. You've said it a few times, Darren, but I think we can say that 45 minutes is as good as you're going to get away from home from any team, isn't it? Norwich City at their best in difficult conditions tonight.
Yeah, and particularly that front three of Buendia, Cantwell and Pukki. When they're on this type of form, Chris, there's no one in the Championship that can get anywhere near them. You know, you can put up good sides against them, you can put good players up against them, but when you've got three causing that much problems as they are at the moment, and as effective as all three of them are in this game, it's really, really difficult to mark. And you have to give credit to all three of them for the intent, the work rate they've shown, the quality they've shown on a difficult pitch. They've been absolutely brilliant again tonight, that front three.
So there we are. It is half-time at St Andrews, and Norwich City are picking up from where they left off on Saturday. Coventry have worked hard. Coventry have defended to the best of their ability, and that hasn't been enough. Norwich have got in several times. Teemu Pukki has been a thorn in Coventry's side all night. 3 times he's got clean through. Once he scored, once he set up Emi Buendia. He's also set up one for Todd Cantwell. So the only complaint is that Norwich should probably be further clear in this game, but Cantwell couldn't score. As it is, Norwich City well on top at half-time at St Andrews. It's Coventry City 0, Norwich City 2.
Excellent news and excellent work, guys. Thank you very much. Second half commentary to come here on BBC Radio Norfolk. The Canaries with a 2-goal advantage, and it's that pair again linking up for both goals. Provider and then goal scorer, and then switch reverse between Pukki and Buendia. So good to have those two back in amongst the goals and enjoying life up front for Norwich City. Keep your thoughts coming in via social media as to what you make of the performance so far for Norwich City. And I suppose the bad news to come from this, Rob Butler, is the fact that Mystic Sarah maybe not quite so mystic after all.
Nah, she's lost it now, I'm afraid. Mystic Sarah back to the drawing board, and Paul the Octopus, he'd get it right. Don't worry about that. Yeah, we've had lots of great shouts. I'll give you a few just to get wet the whistle. The best first half tweet we've had, and we'll have to ask Chris this when we hand back to him after he's had a little break. Jamie says, "Are the cardboard cutouts in the stadium Birmingham or Coventry fans?"
It's a great shout, isn't it?
They must be Birmingham fans, because obviously it's at St Andrews, it's their ground. They're not going to, unless they ferry in a coach load of cardboard.
Maybe it's like Guess
Coventry
Who,
fans.
where you sort of flick them down and then flick them up again, whether you want Coventry ones or Birmingham
Unbelievable.
ones.
James Myhill's been in touch as well. I don't know if this is a new thing, but he might have come up with a brilliant word. Pukendia. Pukendia. Do you like it?
Pukendia strike again.
Yeah,
like
Pukendia strike again. Dominant performance. Bit worrying defending, but 2-0, can't complain. Yeah,
Wenky doesn't work as well.
No. Yes. Pukendia. So is that new? Is James Myhill created a new word that we're going to use on Canary Court? I don't know. Jay says, what a first half. Not sure what's going on with Hanley, though. Yeah, Chris mentioned that, didn't he? Not had his best game for a change. We always rely on Grant Hanley. One more as well. Lots of people talking about the pitch. Matthew Large says, we've made that pitch look good, and it isn't.
That's a really good point. But yeah, he might not be having the best game, but still a clean sheet for Norwich City. More from Rob in a minute. Quick look at what's going on elsewhere in the Championship and further afield as well. Millwall 1-0 up against Birmingham at the break. Of course, Norwich against Birmingham is next Tuesday. QPR 0. Brentford 1.
Jensen takes it, drives it near post, and it's gone through a clutch of players, and Ivan Toney with the final touch backheels it beyond Seni Diang, and we have the deadlock broken. 29.5 minutes played. Ivan Toney's 24th of the season. It's QPR 0, Brentford 1.
Yeah, keep across that, and hopefully QPR can do Norwich City a favour in the second half and take some points off Brentford. Swansea currently being held to a goalless draw against Nottingham Forest. Of course, Swansea got games in hand on the other two in the top 3. Barnsley 0-0 with Blackburn Rovers. That one only kicked off about 5 minutes or so ago. And then an 8:15 kickoff is Bournemouth against Rotherham United. In the Premier League, this game's just about to finish, not quite over. Burnley 1 apiece with Fulham. It was Burnley who actually had to come from behind to potentially earn a draw there. They're into stoppage time in that one. And Everton against Manchester City. That one kicks off at 8:15. There's also Champions League tonight, but that one doesn't start, or both games don't start until 8 o'clock. Now we're going to change sports for a few moments because Rob Butler, you were across this story yesterday. A youngish Norwich lad has got his PDC tour card after qualifying through Q School in Milton Keynes. Jack Main has had a week to remember, and you caught up with him yesterday.
Absolutely, yeah. Jack Main, we've followed him for a while here. He practices with Darren Webster, the Demolition Man, and he's done brilliantly all week at Q School. He was so far ahead of everyone, points totals. He didn't need to play today. He decided to sit it out today. He's already qualified for his PDC tour card, and I caught up with him last night on our evening show. He's absolutely buzzing.
Yeah, I'm over the moon with it. It's something I've been working for, so as I say, I'm over the moon. Ain't really sunk in yet, but I'm sure it will tomorrow.
You've had an amazing week. You've been absolutely smashing it. You've been beating pro players that have been around the tour for a very long time. You've really caught the eye. You've got a bit of kind of media attention as well. What's that been like?
Yeah, it's been a little bit weird. Like I say, I know when the game's at, playing against like some of the pros, but obviously to do it when it matters is the main thing for myself. And media attention's a bit weird. My phone hasn't actually stopped since I come off the board earlier. So like I say, I'm trying to get used to that as well and get back to everyone that's messaged me. But yeah, like I say, you got to take it as it comes.
You obviously Q School's quite tough, isn't it? It's intense and what have you. How did you prepare for it? Was it just practice?
Yeah, I think loads of people don't understand how actually hard and daunting the Q School can actually be. I'd say everyone around the world's trying to make it. Well, lads that play darts, all women that try and play darts, want to come here and try and make it. And I think unless you've actually witnessed it, I don't think people don't realise just how hard it can be. But yeah, the preparation's just been the same as it has been for the last 2 years. Just practice, really.
Absolutely. And Jack, we know your story because we had you here in this studio on BBC Radio Norfolk. You started out as a footballer and it didn't quite work out for you. And one day you picked up darts and went, right, I'm going to give that a go. You finally made it. You're on the tour. You know, this is going to be a year-long thing where you get to play the tournaments and what have you. How does that feel to change your sport like that and now prove that you can be a success at that one too?
Yeah, no, like I say, now knowing that I've got 2 years on the tour, it's like, it's more practice I kick on and see what comes off that. Like I say, it's all learning curve for myself. So like I say, hours and need to be put in and just have to see what the next 2 years bring, and hopefully if I can push with the big boys.
Absolutely, that's what you want to do. And I've spoke to Jess Harding, who's your manager, and I know you've been with him a while now, and he's so proud of you, he says, and he believed in you. He told me that you're such a professional sportsman. You've got that professional mentality because of the football background. You train every day, you work every day, you eat the right things, you're fit. All those things come into it because people might not think about fitness for darts players, but that's very important these days.
Yeah, 100%. Like I say, I can't thank Jess enough. He picked me up when, as I started playing darts, he took me off, not really knowing much about me, just knew a little bit about my sporting background. And like I say, he's supported me throughout. He's been a great help for myself, kept himself calm and level-headed throughout. And like I say, as he knows himself from a sporting background, you have to do well in any sort of sport. You have to have the right mentality, right mindset, right dedication. You have to put in the hours, you have to make sacrifices, and as he rightly say, you have to keep your body right, your mind right, and you have to keep self-focused, as I say, from the beginning.
And just finally,
take every opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And just finally, Jack, what's the dream for you? You've got 2 years now on the tour. What's the dream? Just to kind of get in amongst the big boys, I guess.
Yeah, like I say, I think the first year is obviously get the feel of it and actually show what I can do there. And then I think my second year is hopefully push on from wherever I am in the first year. And then we'll have to make steady steps and progress from there, I believe.
Yeah, well, we'll follow his progress with interest. Good luck to Jack Main, who has had a fantastic week in Milton Keynes and earned himself a PDC tour card for the very first time. And I think he's only been playing sort of seriously for 2 or 3 years. So that's a really quick progress. And you never know, might go on to be the next Gerwyn Price, who has got to the top very, very quickly. Plenty of decent darts players now living in this part of the world. BBC Radio Norfolk, back to the football because Norwich City have a 2-goal advantage away from home in the Championship away at Coventry this evening. The pitch is not doing them many favours, but they're doing the job despite all that, Rob Butler.
Yeah, our friend Leighton's been in touch. I went to school with him, actually. He says the pitch is like Thorpe Rec, but less dog doo-doo. So I think that's a good point. I've played on that pitch very much so. Yeah, lots of people who live near Thorpe Rec will know that. Scientific says Pookie and Emmy are telepathic, I'm sure of it. Pookie hardly looked up before he played that ball across. Yeah, lots of people talking about the pitch as well. It does look dodgy, but Norwich are dealing with it, aren't they? Anna's asked a good question, Phil. Are Pookie and Buendia our best partnership since Holt and Houlihan?
Yes.
Or are they even better?
Oh, that's
No,
a
I don't
tough
think they're
one.
better yet. Come on.
Not yet.
Steady.
Not yet.
Because
Give them
Holt and
another few years.
Houlihan did it in the Prem. These two perhaps not quite as there in the Prem, even though Buendia did have a lot of assists, but Holtzy really smashed it in the Prem, nearly got in the England squad, of course. But there's a discussion to be had, I think. Some people will agree with that and say, yeah, they are the best and even better. Lots more of you getting in touch. Thanks for this. Bob says, I'm having to listen to the commentary. Boo. They've called Cruel Pookie twice already. How does that happen? Hey, come on. Look, these are our colleagues at the BBC. It's tough, isn't it, sometimes? Come on, boys. Let's have some more goals.
I just looked at a picture of Timu Pookie and I was just checking to see if he had any gloves on.
No,
just in case that was confusing.
Well,
him,
it's like a goalie shirt, that pink and black number, isn't it? Repeat offender says it's the next bit that scares me, which he's obviously worried about, the second half. But don't worry, we're going to be all right. I think we're totally in the ascendancy here. Kevin says, well played, Norwich. The game's a bit scrappy, but when we do click and move through the gears, I almost feel sorry for Coventry. Some of our passing has been brilliant. Mark says, we're unlucky not to be 4 up already. Yeah, they've had a couple off the line. Lorraine says, both goals reminiscent of 2018-19. Yeah, I think you're right. Lots more here. A good start. Pitch looks heavy, says Jenny. Tom says, doing very well on a terrible pitch. Dread to think what it'll be like in a week's time. I guess it's the level, the amount of football that's being played, not with Birmingham sort of playing their home games as well and what have you. There's obviously lots of games happening there. But Hanley's a little bit of a talking point as well, Phil. People are a bit worried about him today.
Yeah, there was that challenge just outside the box, I think it was, where Coventry, I don't know whether they were going to be through on goal or not, but it was a challenge that needed to be made. He made it, but maybe got a bit too much of the man. We're just seeing a replay, actually, of the opportunity for Todd Cantwell early on. I mean, that could have set Norwich away brilliantly. But, yeah, so I think Hanley got booked for it, didn't he? But, he's been so good so far this season. You'd always back him to make up for any mistakes he does make. He's a great
player, yeah, he'll be fine. Matt's got in touch and says, not close to Fox and Sutton yet, as in Pookie and Buendia. Fox and Sutton, the greatest partnership.
I thought it was David Fox for a minute.
No. Well, yeah, David Fox and Simeon Jackson, they were good together. But yeah, we all remember the goal at Portsmouth. But yeah, Fox and Sutton have to be our best partnership ever in top flight football at the very least. So yeah, good question though. Good question.
So I saw another couple of tweets from people saying, is Emi Buendia the best player to have played in a Norwich City shirt?
Does it really matter?
I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying.
I don't know.
Because you know me, Phil. I'm always saying, it's the best film I've ever seen. And then next week I'll say, that was the best film I've ever seen. So I don't know. I don't want to get into this.
Full of it,
I'm full of it. You nearly said someone else then. Don't you? Steady. It's not 9 o'clock yet. But no, I don't know. I mean, he's up there, isn't he? He's certainly one of our best modern day players. But I don't think, I think Wes is still that player, and let's be honest, without embarrassing him, because he's probably having a cup of tea. I mean, Darren Eadie did a lot more in the game than.
I was just going to see.
He's a bit more creative.
He's going to tinkle the ivories here and see
and he
if
had
he's
the pace
as
well.
Darren?
I'm listening.
Yeah, you see, no, but Darren, all joking aside, we do that as football fans, don't we? We say, is this the best ever team? Is this the best ever player? Yeah, I mean, Buendia is a brilliant footballer, but he's smashing it in the Championship. He did get a lot of assists in the Premier League, but let's just wind it in a little bit. He's not the best player ever to wear a Norwich shirt, but he's certainly in the top 50.
Yeah, more than that. He is a fantastic player. I think, it's easy to get dragged into this, but it's like again comparing Ronaldo and Messi together, isn't it? I don't think he's a brilliant player, and he's right up there with the best players that ever played for Norwich. I totally agree. The best, but I don't know. I mean, it's very difficult. I mean, I look back to the team I was fortunate enough to play in that you talked about with Foxy and Sutton and Gossy. That team, you could pick out loads of players from that squad. So look, he's a brilliant player, and I think if he was around for another 2 or 3 seasons, 4 seasons at Norwich, still producing he is, then he's got a shout at that. But players don't stick around that long anymore.
Well, one stat that has changed today, Timu Pookie with his 55th goal for Norwich City. Pete Raven tweeted about this early on, which means he's the joint 20th all-time goal scorer for Norwich City, level with Tommy Bryceland in the list of the top 50. Of course, you will find Darren Eadie as well with 40th.
40th, Darren. What about that? You take that?
I'll take 40th. But look, you look at, again, you have to be the comparisons he's playing against tonight. He's playing against a team who are 5th bottom in the Championship, and Coventry are not that brilliant, so you have to take that into account. If Emi does it week in, week out in the Premier League, as he did produce for Norwich last season, then he is, without a doubt, the best player probably Norwich have ever had in their team. But at the moment, he's one of a very, quite a few that have produced on a regular basis for Norwich, and that's all we can ask him at the moment.
Yeah, and we hope he continues to do so. And we're delighted to have Darren Eadie as part of our commentary team. He's watching this one alongside Chris Gorham, and the players are coming out for the second half.
It probably won't surprise you to learn when I tell you about substitutions that there have been 2 at half-time, both from Coventry. Mark Robbins, the former Norwich City striker, Coventry manager these days, has made 2 changes, which I'll tell you about in a moment. But we are underway in the second half. Coventry in their sky blue strip going from left to right, as our pictures show us. Norwich in their third strip today, the mainly black strip, but with the purple and pink trim. And Norwich already in possession and already looking ominous coming forward, and it's Vrancic who spotted Yanulis in space on the left-hand side. His cross takes a deflection and goes through to the goalkeeper. Keeper actually started to go the other way, so it's good that there wasn't, from his point of view, more pace on it, or it really could have caught him out. So there's 2 changes at half-time from Coventry. They've taken off one of their defenders in Rose and have put on Ostergaard, and they've put on Beermoot, who scored against Norwich earlier this season. And here he is, 25 yards out, runs straight into Hanley. The ball is broken, though, here for Hamer to curl the ball into the penalty area, headed up in the air by Hanley, still in the Norwich box. McLean has to complete the clearance, and there's Campbell, who's been absolutely everywhere tonight, plays the ball up towards halfway. Now the ball's worked again towards Campbell as he gathers possession. He's been taken down. The free kick has gone Norwich City's way. No changes for Norwich. Cruel in goal. Aarons, Hanley, Gibson and Yanulis across the back. Skips, McLean and Vrancic, the midfielders. It's Buendia, Campbell and Pukki up front. And they have been irresistible in this game, picking up well and truly from where they left off on Saturday. Norwich lead 2-0. Coventry hammering the ball forward. I'll confirm their revised lineup for you in a moment, but we're just watching Norwich City in possession, working the ball towards the left-hand side, and Yanulis. 2-0 Norwich lead, with goals in the first half from Pukki, set up by Buendia, and then Buendia set up by Pukki. They really are a dream combination for Norwich City at the moment. McLean plays the ball forward. Campbell couldn't control on this occasion, and Coventry have it back with De Costa, the right wing back, but Yanulis is straight in on him, wins it high up the pitch, plays the ball into a central position now, and Buendia, who pivots and knows that Aarons instinctively will be arriving on the right hand side. He crosses the ball in, it's blocked by a defender and should be cleared, and then they've played it behind Aarons here, and Coventry will look to exploit that space with Aarons up the field. The ball's on the halfway line. In comes the challenge, eventually from Campbell, who gets a foot on it, and Coventry still have possession, but it does just hold them up. And here's De Costa, the right wing back for Coventry, coming forward. He did once in that first half to good effect, but a really good cross in that O'Hare headed over the bar. But apart from that, we didn't see much of Coventry as an attacking force. Norwich was so dominant. Here's Ostergaard, the half-time substitute, finds McFadzean, who clips the ball up towards the halfway line. Header on there from Beermoot, but can't find a teammate. And Norwich City have it. Skip floating the ball forward. Pukki will try to latch onto it. It's gone out of play for a throw-in. And really, from a Norwich City point of view here, Darren, 2-0 up at half-time, it's all about not giving Coventry any encouragement at the start of this second half, isn't it? And just managing the game. And if they do that early on in the second half, you'd back them to go further on and score more goals.
Yeah, I think there's a real acknowledgement to actually how the second half started against Stoke on Saturday. You see there's a different tempo to the start of the second half. Norwich looking to try and get that third goal and like say, not give Coventry any kind of sniffs at all. As I say, I think they've perhaps learnt their lesson that, you give away a sloppy goal and then things can change. But certainly the start of this second half, they've come out as they finished the first.
Yeah, and they've got 2 strikers on now, Coventry, because their other change, midfielder Jamie Allen has come off to allow Maxim Beermoot to come on. Maybe that will make them a little bit more dangerous going forward, but it might leave them more vulnerable at the back. Not that they weren't anyway. McLean has found Vrancic 25 yards out. Vrancic into the penalty area. Pukki just can't get there ahead of the goalkeeper. Well done from Wilson, the keeper. Good starting position off his line to dive at the feet of Pukki and take that. They've got Wilson in goal. It's now Ostergaard, McFadzean and Hyam at the back. De Costa and Shipley playing as the wing-backs. They've got Hamer in midfield alongside James as Coventry try to come forward, and Krul comes out to side his penalty area to clear. It's now O'Hare on the left. It looks as if Beermoot has come to the right and Tyler Walker up front. Knock there, taken by Campbell. Looks a bit winded. Play continues, and Norwich have won it. And there's Buendia trying to release Pukki again. This time it's been intercepted. Norwich battling to try and win the ball back inside Coventry territory. And it comes towards De Costa on the right-hand side for Coventry. He can't control, and Yanulis will settle for the throw-in. That is such a good opportunity Norwich have got to attack. That ball in behind along the ground to Pukki. 3 times they got it in the first half. 2 of them led to goals. And the first time it happened, it really should have led to a goal. Coventry, though, trying to come forward. Hamer plays the ball towards the left-hand side. Opportunity here with Walker in the Norwich penalty area. Looks to work it back towards the edge of the penalty area. And now it's played on towards DaCosta, who will drive the ball across goal towards the near post. And Krul, composed as ever, manages to just pick that one up. It was a low cross drilled in towards the near post. And even though a Coventry attacker slid in, O'Hare, Krul comfortably dealt with it. I suppose Coventry, how do they approach this, Darren? Because they're 2-0 down, so there's no point still sitting back. But if they throw too much at this, if they really take the game to Norwich, then Buendia and Cantwell and co will have a field day.
Yeah, I think by adding another centre forward and having two up there, I think Mark Robbins is hoping that they might be able to hold the ball up a bit further up the pitch and not let Norwich literally have so much of the ball, in the defensive area. So, Mark Robbins will want to try and get back in this game. He doesn't want Norwich to run away with this sort of 3 or 4-0. So I think he's probably hoping that the ball's coming back a little bit too quick from Norwich. Possession was given away too cheaply in an attacking sense from them because they didn't really have much in attack. So I think he's probably thinking, look, if we can keep the ball up Norwich's defensive third a bit more, then Norwich aren't going to get as many opportunities and might get 1 or 2 ourselves.
Might be worth just reminding you here that since Coventry moved to St Andrews, it's their second season there, they've only lost 4 of their 31 home league games in that time. The ball headed up towards the edge of the penalty area, dealt with by Hanley. Well, gets it back to Krul, who's skewed that clearance up in the air, but he's got plenty of distance on it. Returned up high by McFadzean, headed away by Norwich City from the edge of the penalty area. Coventry try and come again, but Norwich are just so busy, and eventually Coventry have to work it to the right, and DaCosta. Nice little turn there from James, who's come forward here. He's got Birmu available on the right-hand side. He'll drive a low cross in towards the near post, and it's cleared away. Maxim Birmu, who starred for Sutton United in their famous FA Cup run in 2017, and they were knocked out eventually by Arsenal. That got him the move to Coventry. He's got 4 goals this season, including that late equaliser at Carrow Road back in November, when Coventry did get a 1-1 draw. That was a Norwich team that had all sorts of injury problems at the time. I think that was one of the games that Marco Stiefelmann had to play up front because Norwich didn't have a fit striker. 2-0 tonight. They certainly have got a fit striker today. Pukki scoring one and making one for Buendia in that first half. The ball is there to be won on halfway. In fact, there was a challenge there that was a little over-eager from Skip, and the free kick has been given to Coventry on halfway. Coventry's home record in the Championship: won 5, drawn 6, and lost 3, which is a pretty decent record for a team that's in the bottom 5, isn't it, Darren? They don't get beaten lightly at St Andrews. We'll come on to that in a moment and just see if Norwich can see this out. They can. It's going to be a throw-in in the Norwich right-back position. And 7 clean sheets in the last 9 home league games, Coventry. So they don't often find themselves in this sort of position at home.
No, they don't, which is quite surprising how easy they've been cut open by Norwich tonight. But then sometimes, as I said, you have to just give the praise to the quality of the team you're playing against. And it's not through Coventry's bad play tonight, I would say. It's been Norwich's quality. It's cut them open time and time again.
Inudis finds Cantwell, and Cantwell releases McLean this time. He plays it first time low into the penalty area. There were 3 players in there, and it's cleared by one of the Coventry defenders. McLean raises a hand by way of an apology for not picking out a teammate. But it was a quick break from Norwich City. This is the way they got through in the first half. Cantwell on the left-hand side on what is a boggy surface. Plays the ball over to the right. Aarons is coming forward for Norwich City. And he's found Buendia in space, wide right, level with the penalty area. Buendia working the crossing opportunity, plays it to Pukki on the edge of the box. The ball's bounced up. It seemed to hit the Coventry player on the arm. A few appeals for a penalty or a free kick on the edge of the penalty area from the Norwich players, not given by the referee. And Coventry have cleared it upfield, and Tim Krul gathers outside his penalty area. Norwich keeper lays it off to Ben Gibson. He's played for nearly 9 minutes of the second half, and Norwich are 2 goals up. And some quick passing through the midfield, trying to get Norwich going again. Cut out this time by the Sky Blues. Is Matty James in midfield, hustled by Vrancic, fouled by Vrancic. You can see what he was trying to do there. There's a real eagerness about Norwich City, a real intensity tonight, isn't there, Darren Eadie?
Yeah, there is, and I don't actually think that's a free kick. I think Vrancic does manage to get a challenge on him. He goes down pretty easy. He's got lots of bodies around him. Easy for James to go down and almost buy the free kick. But there is. It's certainly the intent at the start of this second half. Well, throughout the whole game, you can see Norwich, and they're not looking to just hold on to the ball, which you've seen them at times, try and build slowly. They're looking as soon as they get that ball to go nice and quick and look to catch, Coventry unbalanced and out of shape. And they've done it really well tonight.
Throw into Coventry, right-hand side, halfway inside the Norwich half, which Julian DaCosta is going to take. It's only his 3rd league start of the season. Darvo has been playing there for much of the season. He's injured at the moment, former Chelsea youngster, and he was really impressive when he played at Carrow Road earlier this season. High looping ball forward from Coventry, who do have quite a few players out injured at the moment. But most teams seem to this season. Norwich have certainly had their spell where they've had players missing as Aarons is taken down. And that's going to be a free kick to Norwich in their right-back position. You can sense the frustration creeping in 10 minutes into the second half. And it's a sore one for Aarons, actually. I thought he was going to get straight back up. Maybe not. Now he's helped to his feet by Grant Hanley. It could have been a very different game, this one, if Hanley had been sent off in that first half. It would be interesting to see what Mark Robbins thinks about that after the game, when Tyler Walker seemed to be bearing down on the penalty area and was fouled by Hanley.
Well, I think it is something that Norwich needs to be mindful of, isn't it? Because with Hanley on a yellow card, they obviously want him fit and ready for all these games to come and available. Is it something as the game goes on, they're in complete control? Do they look to just change things a little bit to protect him? Because it only takes one mistake again, as he did in the first half, and all of a sudden he's missing for a game.
Yeah, he would miss the Rotherham game on Saturday for a second booking, wouldn't he? But we'll see whether Daniel Farke thinks that's a good idea. Yanulis runs up towards the halfway line, gets fouled. Free kick. I think we're only 55 minutes in. There's a lot of football to be played yet. But if we talk about Yanulis' best performance on Saturday, I think he's been even more confident tonight, hasn't he? Very composed.
Yeah, he has. But again, that comes from the quality I think he's got in front of him. You know, as a defender, it's when you've got the attacking intent in Buendia and Pukki and Todd Cantwell are on form at the minute. You know, as a defender, it's easy to it certainly makes your job a little bit easier because you're not defending so much. Simple as that.
Referee not happy with it was a cynical foul. Just seen it again from Da Costa. He's got goal side of him up towards the halfway line. And he just clipped his heels, and he has been booked, Da Costa. So that's why the referee was giving him a long talking to. I didn't think it was worth a second yellow card, certainly, but the referee making Da Costa well and truly aware that he is on the thinnest of thin ice now. McLean gets the ball forward for Norwich City. Here's Vrancic, goes to ground, just can't keep that ball alive, but Yanulis has picked it up. He's got it into the penalty area, looking for Cantwell, who can't quite take it in his stride, and it's gone through to the goalkeeper, Wilson, for Coventry. It'll be interesting to see whether Norwich can get Da Costa under a bit of pressure now that he's had that yellow card from a challenge on Yanulis in the first half, and another one a moment ago. And now Da Costa's played the ball up towards the edge of the penalty area. Coventry get it into the box, and Krul comes out and narrows the angle, and he does enough. And the ball goes wide of the post from O'Hare. But that was a rare occasion. One ball forward from Da Costa, and Coventry actually got in behind Norwich there. O'Hare with a lovely touch round Hanley. Krul comes out, and I think Krul actually gets a touch, doesn't he? And the ball goes behind for a corner. That was good goalkeeping.
Yeah, he does really well, and he's had not much to do all game, is he? And you can see as well he's furious with his defence and saying, make sure you don't switch off on the goalkeeper. I've pulled off that save, got you out of a bit of trouble. Don't switch off in situations this game's not won, and that's brilliant for the goalkeeper to keep pushing his back four to make sure they don't make those mistakes, because that was a great opportunity for Coventry then, and they probably should have scored. It's a decent save.
It is, and it's Coventry's first corner, and they are not taking any chances on Da Costa. Julian Da Costa, I mentioned he just had his warning. He's been substituted by Mark Robbins, which is why there's a delay. Now, Matty James hangs the corner in from the right-hand side. Coventry's first corner of the game, headed into the 6-yard box and gathered easily by Tim Krul. You can understand what Mark Robbins has done there, can't you? He saw the referee have a long word with Da Costa. He's on a yellow card, and at the first opportunity since then, he's taken him off. And I think it's Pask who's come on to replace him.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where it doesn't even take a bad tackle, does it? A mistime one like he did before, perhaps just a slight trip. He's almost, waiting to get that red card out, the referee. So it's a simple thing to do. It doesn't take an actual yellow card to get him sent off. It's like accumulation of those silly little fouls. He does one more and he'd be off.
It's Pask who has slotted into that Da Costa position on the right-hand side. And actually, it's Da Costa who just played that pass through that almost unlocked the Norwich defence a minute ago for O'Hare. So a bit of a loss for Coventry, perhaps, but they would have lost in one way or another, I think, the way this game was going. 2-0 Norwich lead. Up to Yanulis now. On halfway, he accelerates forward. Pukki can't hold on to the ball. He stayed down there, actually. He's got out of shot now, but that's a concern as O'Hare comes forward for Coventry. Gets the ball out towards the right-hand side and Biamu. Now it's laid back towards the halfway line where Pukki is back up on his feet. Now that he's come back into picture, we can tell you. Here's Matty James hooking it towards the edge of the Norwich penalty area. Biamu from the byline on the right-hand side has Ben Gibson for company. Pask's first touch, I think, is to cross the ball in. It's dealt with by Norwich City, but for how long? The shot's going to come in from distance, and it's not far wide. Well, it was hit by Hamer, the Brazilian-born Dutch youth international, who got that shot in. Was being teed up by Max Aarons. It's a sort of Conor Hourihane territory, the sort of position he scored against Norwich from for Swansea a few weeks ago. But it has to be a good shot to beat Krul from there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was a decent stride. Krul was at full stretch, but it was always hit with his right foot. He cut across it just a little bit, and it was always bending away from goal. I think Tim Krul probably had it covered, but especially when you've got a surface like this and it is slidey and slippery like that. You don't mind shots from distance because it can often end up in the back of the net. And actually, my first reaction it was in, but fortunately it didn't. It went wide of the post.
Yeah, you always worry, don't you? Particularly with the angle that we're getting and the TV feed we're getting.
And with no fans as well, Chris, because you don't hear any fan reaction. So you kind of it gives it's a few seconds before you actually realise, is the ball gone in or not?
Nulis just being forced back towards his own corner flag there by Biamu, and he couldn't take control of the ball, and he's ended up putting it behind for another Coventry corner. They've only had 2 in the first hour of this game, and they've both been in the last couple of minutes. It's 2-0 to Norwich, but it's Coventry's turn to just try and get back into this game. Matty James, the on-loan Leicester midfielder, with the corner from the right. There was a short option available. Instead, he's going to raise the left arm and now play the ball into the penalty area towards the far post. It's headed down. It's loose in the penalty area, but the referee's whistle's gone. There was a foul in there and a free kick to Norwich City. So they've dealt with the first 2 Coventry corners. Josh Pask, who's just come on for Coventry, former West Ham youngster, didn't make the first team there. He's been with Coventry for a couple of seasons now, but used sparingly by Mark Robbins. It's only his 14th appearance for the club tonight. But he's gone in that right wing-back position to see if he can help haul Coventry back into the game. They've got it up towards Tyler Walker here. Busy in the first half. Couldn't control it there. Campbell knocks one over the top and suddenly Norwich are away. And it's Pukki into the Coventry penalty area to the right of goal. He's got a defender up against him, and it's a defender this time that gets the better of Pukki high and clears the ball away. That was good defending, because we've seen Pukki in that position to good effect already in this game. Sprinting through, bearing down on the Coventry penalty area. That's where the 2 Norwich goals have come from. They lead 2-0. Coventry now have possession on halfway. They play the ball up here towards Walker. He's dispossessed a little too easily, I think, for Mark Robbins' liking there. You'd expect him to hold on to the ball better in that position. And Norwich City have possession with Hanley deep inside his own half. 2-0 to Norwich. Coventry haven't managed to hit back early on in this second half. And it's just a case, really, of what Norwich want to do from here. Do they manage it and just see the game out, being 2-0 up, or do they look to add to the goals tally as they did when they played Stoke on Saturday? While it's 2-0, it's fairly comfortable, but as we've seen in other games, Darren, if Coventry do score the next goal in this game, it really does change the complex of it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I'm not sure Norwich have got it in their DNA to see games out, Chris. I think they're at their best when they are going full tilt almost all the time to try and score more goals. And I think we've seen sometimes this season when they have come out a little bit complacent in second halves, they've got themselves in a little bit of trouble. So, and again tonight, I think we've seen when they have, looked to keep pushing forward, they've looked dangerous and actually looked less like conceding. So, I think they're certainly doing the right thing.
Here come Coventry through the midfield, and the shots come in from the edge of the penalty area, but it's low and straight at Tim Krul, and it remains 2-0. That's where Norwich have just got to be a bit careful. Gustavo Hamer has had a couple of opportunities now, if you can call them opportunities, shots from outside the penalty area, really. So not clear-cut goal-scoring opportunities, but he's the man in that midfield. 5 goals already this season. Looking to try and bring Coventry back into it, the 23-year-old, on the books of Feyenoord as a youngster. But proving a useful player for Coventry this season. He scored a header from 25 yards against Watford earlier this season, so Norwich will have to watch him. But no harm done there. Skips manages to slide the ball towards Campbell on halfway. Coventry 0, Norwich 2 is the score. If you are just joining us on BBC Radio Norfolk, Darren Eady and Chris Gore, I'm watching this one with you. And Darren will be taking your canary calls at full time. As Skip tries to play the ball forward, it's been knocked out of play by Ostergaard for a throw in to Norwich City, almost by the feet of Daniel Farker, who's got that black coat on. He comes towards the side of the pitch, and we see another change, the 4th of the night. And they've all been by Coventry so far. This time it's Tyler Walker who's been taken off. He has been injured recently, and maybe the pace of the game just catching up with him. He was involved in that big incident in the first half where Hanley might have been sent off, but Walker, the Coventry striker, goes off. And the game continues. Long ball forward. There to be dealt with on the edge of the Norwich penalty area. Gibson does so. Gets it to Aarons, who's actually going back towards his own penalty area here. He finds Tim Krul. It's Krul with the left foot who plays the ball up towards the halfway line. Brankic goes looking for it. Coventry, in the last 5 minutes or so, Coventry have had the majority of the possession. Can they make it tell? They've got it on the left corner of the penalty area. Norwich just protecting their 2-goal lead for the moment. Coventry giving it a go to get back into it. Long ball forward, aimed towards the edge of the Norwich penalty area. Headed away by Hanley. Opportunity perhaps here for O'Hare, who slides it towards the left-hand side. Shipley joins in the attack. He curls the ball into the penalty area from the left. It's a dangerous one. It's headed down, and it's straight at Krul. That was Pask, who's just come on, who found space inside the penalty area. It wasn't really a confident header. There was no conviction in it, but it was a great opportunity, that, for Coventry.
Yeah, that's 3 warnings now, Chris, isn't it, that Norwich have had, as well as they have played. I think Tim Krul's been the busiest goalkeeper in this second half. nothing with real quality going up against him, but just a few warning signs. And actually, you have to give credit to Mark Robbins, the changes he's made at half-time and sticking 2 up front. They're getting a lot more opportunities, and the ball's not coming back quite so quick.
Just confirm that substitution. They took off Tyler Walker. They brought on Victor Gyökeres, the Swedish striker, who's on loan from Brighton. They're trying to get him involved here, but it's just gone over his head and through to the goalkeeper. In fact, Gyökeres has come to the right, and Biamu is now going through the middle. Gyökeres has already played against Norwich this season for Swansea. Didn't get much football on loan at Swansea in the first half of the season, but will look to do his former club a favour tonight by pegging back Norwich in the promotion race. But he's got a lot of work to do because Norwich lead 2-0 here against Coventry, and Vrancic is marching forward with the ball. He's found Cantwell on the left. Cantwell spreads the play back towards the halfway line. An opportunity for Kenny McLean here just to knock it into the path of Aarons on the right wing. Buendia available for the short pass. That's where it goes now. Buendia is 25 yards from goal. He unleashes a shot, takes a big deflection. Vrancic keeps it alive on the edge of the box. Yanulis now on the left, level with the penalty area. Gives it to Vrancic on the corner of the box. He's tackled, but the ball is going to be picked up comfortably here by Cantwell, still deep inside Coventry territory. He looks to change the angle of the attack and bring Aarons in on the right-hand side. Norwich are 2 up, so no tearing hurry to really go for Coventry here, and they've just floated the ball back across to Cantwell. That's one of the longest 1-2s you'll see. Cantwell gives the ball to Gibson on halfway, and back it goes now into Skip and then Gibson. And here's Cantwell on the left-hand side. Comes forward. Was he taken down there by Gyökeres? Referee says no. It was a good tackle. And Coventry win possession back inside their own half. That's the sort of work rate it's going to take for Coventry to get back into it. The forward play, Gyökeres coming back into his own half, and now brought into possession on halfway. He comes forward, plays the ball forward. Challenged by Skip, no foul is given, and Tim Krul just sweeps up for Norwich City. Plays the ball towards the right-hand side, and Aarons coming forward. Coventry 0, Norwich 2. Still got a quarter of this game to go. Norwich really showing much as an attacking force in this second half, but then they don't have to, really, do they, Darren? They've got this game under control at the moment.
No, they don't have to, but I think you also have to credit to Coventry. They've come out decent in the second half, changed their formation, creating a lot more things going forward, but you do feel as if Norwich really needed to. They could go up another gear and perhaps get another couple of goals, but at the moment, they don't need to. Exactly that.
Skip's back defending for Norwich City as Coventry again, full of industry, try to haul themselves back into the game with O'Hare. He's teed up the substitute Pask on this right-hand side. He's got an option outside him here in the shape of Biamu. 2 to aim for in the penalty area. Biamu takes on Yanulis, gets the cross in. Krul deals with it by the near post. I think I've just noticed Kieran Dowell hovering by the side of the pitch, ready to come on. They've given a corner there, haven't they? Tim Krul feels that he dived and kept that ball in play, but he's clearly not happy. But a corner has been given as that cross came in from Biamu. Let's see.
Yeah, he's not happy at all, is he, Tim Krul?
No, it's just where they're...
Tim Krul's clearly over the line, isn't he? But it's difficult to see the ball. Where the ball actually was. I'm not sure the whole ball was crossed the line.
No, I'm not sure. Anyway, corner it is. Norwich must defend it. James from the right-hand side delivers. It's a looping header. Krul's come off his line, and he hasn't really dealt with it, but it has been cleared. But as so often happens when you see a goalkeeper get blocked off by a crowd of players, the foul is given, so it wouldn't have mattered. But yeah, I'm not convinced that was a corner. No harm done anyway. Quite often when it is a slightly questionable corner, the referees find an excuse to give a free kick, don't they, when the corner eventually comes in? And that's what happened there.
Absolutely do. Just because of his score, you can imagine the complaints, can't you? The ball shouldn't have been given. There should never been a corner. Yes, they generally give something.
Mario Vrancic will make way for Kieran Dowell. And this is useful from Norwich City's point of view to give Kieran Dowell a quarter of this game. Darren, a player who's had... Well, he's a good player, Kieran Dowell. He's done it for various teams in the Championship before, but he's just had no luck, no time on the pitch really for Norwich City, has he, with injuries? And now he's got a good 20 minutes here just to not so much show what he can do, but just get some important match time in the legs. And he's going to play in that number 10 position, I think.
Yeah, Mario will be frustrated because I think he's had a decent game as well. You never want to come off in a game when you're winning and you're comfortable in it. You want to continue and try and get on the score sheet yourself as well, which he's capable of doing. But yeah, in terms of management, I think it's good. It gives Vrancic a little bit of a rest, but also, as you say, gives Dowell that time on the pitch which he so badly needs. He's a player that was brought into the football club to start every single game essentially. He's had his injury problems, and more minutes you can give him now with the run-in towards the end of the season, it's going to be a tough one. The more players that are up to speed physically and fitness-wise, the better.
Did score Norwich's first goal of this season, Dowell, way back in the League Cup at the start of September against Luton. A defeat, but he was on target in that game, and he's involved there, plays it to Cantwell, who can't quite give it back to him. And Coventry play it forward here towards Biamu, back heel towards the halfway line, and now O'Hare's got it up here towards Gyökeres, who goes down under the challenge of Gibson, And we're going to get another yellow card here, I think, coming out. And that will be both Norwich centre-backs on a booking. Gibson just caught the heels of Gyökeres there. And you can see the referee was very quick to reach for the yellow card, wasn't he? So that's Gibson and Hanley now, who've been shown yellow cards. And Gyökeres, since coming on, the striker from Sweden, has really put himself about, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has, and it's caused him a few problems. He's physical, he's direct, he likes to attack defenders, and that's a defender's worst nightmare. When you've got someone who's willing to run with the ball and turn at you. You get those. That was almost, again, it's one of those ones. It wasn't a particularly bad foul. It's just sort of legs connected and twisted, and he managed to bring him down. But he's always going to give particularly a free kick, but also a yellow card there as well, because he's so close in on goal.
We've got a free kick. 20 minutes to go. Coventry 0, Norwich 2. It's 25 yards out to the right of centre. Shipley looking interested with the left foot, but instead it's kicked into the penalty area, headed half clear by Norwich City. Then the follow-up shot is completely missed. It's an air shot, and that allows Norwich City an opportunity to clear the ball away. But once again, I think the officials have spotted an infringement in there, and there's no harm done. Well, Gyökeres, I mentioned he's on loan from Brighton. He must have a unique record. He's got 3 goals this season, Darren, has Gyökeres. He's got 1 for Brighton, his parent club. He got 1 on loan at Swansea and 1 for Coventry. There can't be too many players who've got 3 goals this season, all for different clubs, but he has. As the ball is
never
played
played that many clubs in my career.
Yeah, he has in half a season, and sort of gets 1 goal at a time. Almost given away there by Norwich on halfway. McLean eventually steals possession back, and it comes to Yanulis on halfway. Yanulis pushing forward from left back for Norwich City. No challenge on him. He's been allowed to go a long way with it here. Dowell's just peeled out to the left and has made a great pass for Yanulis, who brings it into the penalty area now. Sets up Cantwell, who can't quite control. Pukki will race onto it now for Norwich, right corner of the penalty area. Aarons joins in the attack. He's heading for the byline. Double sort of deflection there as the challenge comes in, and goal kick has been given. That's the best move we've seen from Norwich for a while, isn't it, in an attacking sense in this second half?
Yeah, and it just shows again when Janulis bombs forward and gives that balance on the left-hand side, it really pulls that Coventry defence about. But I think the important thing now as well, as much as they're in control of this game, is keeping that clean sheet, Chris. I think it's something that Norwich will be looking to do, particularly Tim Krul as well. He wants to make sure that, because it sends out a message to other teams. They've not conceded again tonight. They've looked comfortable. Keeping that clean sheet is vital for defenders as much as scoring goals for forwards.
Cantwell plays the ball into the penalty area, and there's an opportunity here for Norwich. Aaron's shot is blocked by the goalkeeper and cleared away. Not sure he was offside there, I wondered, but the flag didn't go up. It was a wonderful ball from Cantwell. Diagonal ball hit over the top of the Coventry defence. He times his run brilliantly, does Aarons. It's a decent first touch, left foot shot. He hits into the ground, really, and Wilson, the goalkeeper, is able to parry. Great opportunity. Norwich look to come again on that right-hand side. Ball played into the penalty area, and it's gone through to the goalkeeper, Wilson. Just now, as we saw in the first half, when Norwich really turned it on, when they really stepped up the intensity in the attack, they got chances, and they've had a couple in the last few moments. Here's Gyökeres, the substitute for Coventry, on halfway. Plays the ball back towards the halfway line, and Pask quickly been closed down by Cantwell, but he's managed to hook the ball into the Norwich half. An awkward bouncing one for Skip to do something with, and he's shuffled it back towards his own goal. And Krul comes and clears, but I think the referee spotted an infringement there, and we'll give a free kick for Norwich City. They're just inside their own half. 17 minutes to go. We've got Canary Call at full time. Well, Butler and Darren Eady will be taking your calls on what looks like being another good night for Norwich City at the moment, barring any alarms or dramatic late comebacks from Coventry. Last we heard, Brentford were winning at QPR, so it will be as you were in terms of the top 2 in the division. With Swansea playing as well this evening. Long ball hit forward from Norwich. Aaron's, or Cantwell I should say, chasing it on the left-hand side, but it's been cleared, and it's a throw-in for Norwich, which Yanulis will take, settling into life at left-back in the Championship, his 4th appearance for the club tonight, Yanulis. On he goes, and eventually the ball is knocked back towards Gibson, and then on the halfway line, an opportunity for Buendia to try and get Aaron's away again on the right-hand side here. Dowell shoots from the edge of the penalty area, got underneath it. That's the sort of position he did score from against Luton on the opening day. He was there on the edge of the penalty area. Ball played back to him, but over the top. But again, Norwich City just beginning to step it up again now, aren't they, Darren, after a relatively quiet second half as an attacking force. But they're 2-0 up, so that's not a complaint.
Yeah, I mean, there was really good play on the left-hand side. There's sort of 3 or 4 really quick, smart passes, I think, between Skip and Janulis, and they switched the ball nice and quickly and get an opportunity. And Dowell getting on the end of it, probably should have done a little bit better with the shot. But that's what's impressed me about Norwich tonight. Even though the pitch hasn't been great, they've still been still have plenty of belief in the quality they've got, and they move the ball nice and quick, switching it quick. And that's been evident for me, Chris, and particularly the last 2 games, as you said earlier, that the way they've approached the games in terms of their attacking intent, there seems to be a different kind of mentality about them. They're not looking to do 40 passes before they score a goal. When they get those opportunities, they're making the right decisions to attack as quick as they can when they can.
Just hearing that QPR have equalised against Brentford. Yes, 1-1. Confirmation. That just flashing up on the screen here. QPR 1, Brentford 1. So this could be a very, very good night for Norwich City. Swansea 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Those games both kicking off at the same time as this. So 2 of those teams up near the top of the division, as it stands, are dropping points tonight. Norwich City are doing their bit. They lead 2-0. On the right-hand side now, let's come forward and perhaps try and put this game to bed. Ball is with Dow, who plays it to the feet of Yanulis, just on halfway. Now it's with Skip, who will play it towards the right-hand side. In front of him on that right wing, as is often the case, is Max Aarons, who will set off infield from that right wing position and plays in the other fullback, Yanulis. One touch to Campbell, looking for Yanulis in the penalty area, beaten to it by a defender, to the Costa, I think they're over corner. It might be a throw-in, difficult to see exactly where the ball went off. It is going to be a throw-in right by the corner flag. Yanulis will go over to take it. 11 caps for Greece, 4 appearances in the Champions League this season for his previous club, Yanulis. Champions League action taking place elsewhere in Europe tonight, but it's all about the Championship for us. And it's Norwich 2-0 up at Coventry, with goals from Pukki and Buendia in the first half. Coventry play a long ball up towards Beermoot here, trying to occupy the Norwich defenders. Gibson hacks it away. Eventually it's controlled by Yanulis on the left-hand side. Forward he comes, just eased off the ball there, and the referee says free kick. Coventry looking frustrated, shoulder to shoulder they're claiming, but no, free kick has been given to Norwich City. So, but we've got 14 minutes to go in this one. Still QPR 1, Brentford 1, Swansea 0, Forest 0, and Coventry 0, Norwich 2 in the game that we're watching, which, as it stands, would just inch Norwich an extra point clear at the top of the table. We'll see how it goes. Here comes Campbell on the left-hand side. Campbell with an opportunity perhaps here to cut inside and work the ball into the midfield, but it's Buendia who hasn't managed to control that ball, and it's cleared upfield by Coventry. And now an opportunity for Hanley, who's sent sprawling to the ground there by Gyökeres. He's so good at winning the free kicks in that position, isn't he, Grant Hanley, going back towards his own goal. Remember, we did a game recently with Grant Holt, and he talks about how frustrating Grant Hanley is to play against, because he just buys free kicks off centre forwards, as he did there.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same the way around, Chris. If you're centre forward, you get into a position where you're holding the ball up in the final third to see a game out. Defender comes into the back. As soon as you feel any contact, just go to ground. There's no different defenders. As much as he's a big, strong lad, when he's got his back to the way he wants to be facing, he's facing his own goal. He knows he's in danger, and he feels any type of contact, the ref is always going to give a free kick, no matter what. Even if it's just a touch and they go down, the ref will always give a free kick.
Mark Robbins has made his 5th and final change of the night, taking off Matty James in the midfield and bringing on Liam Kelly, who's just getting back from an injury of his own, the Coventry club captain. It's an opportunity for him to get some minutes in the legs, and it is 2-0 to Norwich City. Both goals coming in the first half. We've got it on the right-hand side now, have Norwich. Play back towards the halfway line. Aaron's trying to get forward. Just a little tackle from a Coventry player, takes it out of play. Throw in. Aaron's will play it back into his own half to Hanley, who will roll it all the way back to goalkeeper Krul. Krul passes that one out to Gibson. You have to be extra careful with it in your own defensive area tonight, because it's not the best of surfaces, as we've been saying. Yanulis gives it back to Tim Krul, who doesn't take any chances. Swings the ball forward with the left foot, headed on nicely there by Dowell. Pukki sets off after it, blocks the route back to goal from the Coventry defence. They've got it under control now with McFadzean at the back. Dowell goes to close him down, and the ball goes back to the goalkeeper, Ben Wilson. You can now recall with Darren Eadie and Rob Butler after the game. 0800 389 7321 if you want to have your say in what is looking like a promising night for Norwich City in the Championship at the moment. The Canaries are 2-0 up at Coventry, and would you believe Queen's Park Rangers and the local derby have just gone 2-1 up against Brentford. Charlie Austin, who's recently joined QPR on loan, has scored. QPR have scored twice in 5 minutes to turn that one around. And, well, we've been talking about twists and turns, haven't we, in the Championship. If it stays like this, since Saturday, Norwich will have had a 6-point swing against Brentford. The ball's bouncing around the edge of the Norwich penalty area. Aaron's doing his best to deal with it and try and see it back to the goalkeeper, and he's done well. it'll be a goal kick. What about that, Darren? QPR 2-1 up against Brentford. Not full time yet, but fascinating this time of the year, isn't it? When the games start to matter.
Yeah, and just as much as we said just a few weeks back, it's not disastrous because Norwich drew a couple and lost one. It's you've not won the league just because Norwich have won a couple and Brentford have faltered. So, there's a long way to go, and I think that's what people need to be balanced. There will be more twists and turns for the end of the season, but it just shows, doesn't it? The pressure when you're at the top as well is difficult to maintain that position. But Norwich have been there before; they've experienced it in seasons gone past. So if anybody should be capable of knowing the ups and downs and the twists and turns, it is this Norwich team.
10 minutes to go. Coventry 0, Norwich City 2. Norwich have managed the game well in this second half. Buendia plays the ball wide to the left and Yanulis, and now Buendia trying to release Yanulis, who hadn't continued his run, so it'll be Dowell who'll chase it into the channel, but it looks like a lost cause. That one's going to go behind for a goal kick to Coventry. We've made all of their changes. Norwich have only made one, with Dowell coming on for Vrancic, and usually when you get into the last 10 minutes and Norwich have got a lead, this is where Daniel Farke does like to make regular substitutions if he can, just to break it all up a little bit. Millwall 2, Birmingham 0 elsewhere tonight. Birmingham in the bottom three. And Norwich will play Birmingham on this same ground next Tuesday night. A game you can hear, of course, with us live on BBC Radio Norfolk at home to Rotherham on Saturday. Birmingham, or Coventry, I should say, have the ball in Birmingham on the left-hand side. And an opportunity to try and perhaps get one back and put a bit of doubt in Norwich minds. Instead, they've worked it back towards the halfway line. Now a direct diagonal ball into the box, half cleared by Norwich City. There's a dangling leg there from Skip, which almost makes contact with the Coventry attacker. It doesn't, and Norwich are able to clear it away. You just see now, Coventry have gone really direct. They know 9 minutes to go, they're running out of time. If they can score a goal now, it might make it interesting, but it's just a test for Norwich to see whether they can manage this, isn't it?
I think as well as it shows, I think, the right attitude from Mark Robins. He's trying to get back into this game rather than sitting back and sort of damage limitation, because goal difference will make a lot of difference come the end of the season. You won't want your team to concede 3 or 4. So, he's trying to claw things back and just close that gap a little bit and making sure that they don't concede. But they've certainly been better when they have played with more attacking intent and actually getting more bodies forward and playing with 2 centre forwards. So it's been a good switch by Coventry. They've certainly been better the second half.
Yeah, Mark Robbins gets a touch there on the side of the pitch, actually, because a throw in to Coventry. Pask, one of his substitutes, is going to take it on the right-hand side. Gets it back towards McFadzean on halfway. Goes now to Ostergaard. 2-0 to Norwich. 8 minutes to go on BBC Radio Norfolk. Norwich have, it's felt, as much as Coventry have given it a better go in the second half, it's felt like Norwich have played with a bit to spare, and now they snap into life and they win possession back on halfway with Campwell, who just holds on to possession well, and will knock it back to McLean. And out to the right-hand side, and Aarons. Now, Campwell again. Calmly done. He finds Hanley, who's closed down quickly, so plays it all the way back to Krul. And Krul will pass the ball out to Skip, who will knock it to the feet of Hanley. And Hanley closed down, so plays it back to goalkeeper Krul, who clears upfield with the left foot. Coventry win the first header, and the ball runs nicely along there for Norwich on the right-hand side. They've got possession. Skip's available in space on halfway. That's where the ball goes. Slides it out towards the right wing now. And Aaron's attempts to set off on a forward run. He's checked. And it will be a free kick to Norwich City. You can see there that ball that Campbell had at his feet a moment ago, Darren. I think in the first half at 0-0, he might have played it forward. But they're settling to just keep it simple now, Norwich, aren't they, in the position they're in?
Yeah, I think so. But the difference is, we talk about seeing a game out. I think when they did it against Stoke last week, it was a little bit sloppy at the start of the second half. But even though they've not created a huge amount, they've never looked under any real pressure. They're still playing with an intensity about them and a desire, which is a very different way to the best way to obviously see a game out.
Campbell's just given the ball away, and then in attempting to redeem himself, he's committed a foul there, which the referee has played an advantage for. But I think he'll bring back to give Campbell a card. Play continues though. Coventry sensing an opportunity. Here on the right-hand side is Kelly, who will find Guy Koresh. He's tackled, the ball bounces away, and it will be a throw-in to Coventry. But Todd Campbell there's a careless pass. We've not said that much tonight, and the yellow card indeed comes out, because as he tried to win the ball back from that careless pass, he committed a reckless challenge in the middle of the park. I think a yellow card at first glance. We haven't seen it again, but a yellow card probably about right for that one. Do you think, Darren?
Yeah, I think so. But I don't mind a yellow card there in that instance. I think if the team's going to break, you almost take one for the team there, aren't you? You just make sure you're not going to get conceded a goal. You'd rather have a yellow card for Todd than a ball ended up in the back of the net.
Campbell takes his frustration out there with a launched clearance from the left-back position. Coventry win the header with McFadzean. And another header forward from Norwich City. An opportunity for Coventry to be the team that gets the foot on the ball, and they've shifted it nicely to Kelly, who's come on as a substitute in this game. Forward he comes on the right-hand side for them. Runs into Yanulis, who exchanges passes nicely with Campwell, and Norwich will get a throw in their left-back position. 5.5 minutes to go. It is Norwich City who lead 2-0 at Coventry. Take on Rotherham at Carrow Road on Saturday, and they come to this ground next Tuesday against Birmingham. Bournemouth have just gone a goal up against Rotherham, Norwich's next opponents. That one is a slightly later kick-off than that one, so they're in the first half still there. Bournemouth under the caretaker management with Jonathan Woodgate still. There's some other famous footballing names being linked with that job today, Thierry Henry included. They're 1-0 up without him at the moment. Bournemouth 1, Rotherham 0. Throw into Coventry on halfway here. 5 minutes left. Can Norwich finish with a flourish, or is it just going to be a case of seeing out what has been a very satisfying away performance? It's Pask on the right-hand side for Coventry. Plays the ball along the ground to Biamu. He gets it back again now from Kelly. Biamu's got to run on Yanulis here. Drives the ball across early. Opportunity perhaps for O'Hare on the edge of the penalty area. A nice twist and a turn. And he takes the ball into the penalty area now. Biamu from the right-hand side. Lays the ball back. The ball swung into the Norwich 6-yard box. And it goes behind off a defender. Really important touch there from Grant Hanley. Coventry are giving this a good go just in the last few minutes to try and get one back and try and just put a bit of doubt in Norwich minds. But it is still 2-0.
Yeah, it's great defended by Grant Hanley. It's a good little build-up play by Coventry, and the ball's whipped in from the right-hand side, and Grant Hanley spots the danger, gets across his front post, sliding in, cuts the ball out, because I'm sure it would have been pretty much a certain goal if he hadn't done that.
Gustavo Hamer with this Coventry corner from the right-hand side, rather a flat delivery, easily headed away. Back it will come, though. High looping ball into the Norwich penalty area. Easy for Tim Krul to take. We've got 4 minutes to go. Krul relatively untroubled in this second half, but Coventry have been a better side since half-time. But that 2-0 lead Norwich had in the first half really always looked like it was going to be too much for Coventry, barring any dramatic late comebacks here. Throw in for Norwich. Pukki chasing the ball forward. I do think Norwich have played within themselves in the second half as well. I don't think it's all about Coventry. I think when you're 2-0 up, you can afford to play differently, can't you? And we're going to see that now, because Norwich are going to bring on Christoph Zimmermann and Lucas Ruff by the looks of it. Todd Campbell, the first player to be taken off.
Yeah, they have played within themselves, Chris, but also, as I said before, it's almost like it's playing within yourselves, but doing it in the right manner. As much as they've looked comfortable, they've still worked with a real intention. You know, when they've lost the ball, they've made sure they've won it back quicker. They haven't just sat back and let Coventry have the ball and attack them. They've made sure that they've done the work rate defensively. If they haven't looked like they're busting the gut to go forward and get another goal, they've certainly put in the effort and the desire defensively to see the game out. And that's been the difference for me, I think, from other performances. In the right way to see a game out is the way they've done it tonight.
And they're seeing it out here because they've taken off Buendia and Campwell, and they've brought on Zimmermann and Rupp for the final 2.5 minutes. Christoph Zimmermann's first league action of 2021, this is, with the form of Gibson and Hanley. He struggled to get in the team. On he comes. So Norwich have got 3 centre-backs on the pitch now, and they've taken off 2 of their attacking players, Buendia and Campwell, and it looks as if it's going to be Rupp and Dowell who will now fill those positions. Have a closer look at exactly how Norwich have gone in a moment, but you can see, get an extra defender on, just shore it up and make sure that they are not the victim of a dramatic late comeback at St Andrews. Coventry 0, Norwich 2 the score. A couple of minutes to play. A throw in, one on halfway eventually by Norwich in the air. It was McLean who got ahead to it, and now here's Aarons who will play the ball forward, and it's knocked in field to Pukki. Clever touch from Pukki, but it's blocked by a Coventry player. Now O'Hare gathers it and will try and carry his team forward. Out to the left-hand side it goes. Norwich with some defending to do here. The ball's on the edge of the Norwich penalty area. Crowd of players there with the extra defender on for Norwich City. Shipley it is, who hits one from distance for Coventry, and it clears the crossbar comfortably. Again, you don't really mind players shooting from there, do you? They can fly in the top corner, of course they can, but all a little bit desperate, really, for Coventry, who know they've been well beaten tonight.
Yeah, all defenders and any goalkeeper will tell you, if you're going to have shots from distance, almost the defence has done their job. It can be tricky, but they haven't really cut or carved Norwich open tonight on too many occasions. Coventry, they've had 1 or 2 little glimpses, little flashes. They've looked like they may have got a goal, but apart from that, a thoroughly enjoyable game. And from Norwich's point of view, not just in attacking sense in that first half, it's almost been, the right way to win a game in the first half in terms of attacking. Actually, defensively, second half, they've been brilliant as well.
Norwich 4 points clear at the top of the championship as things stand, because in the game that also kicked off at 7 o'clock, Brentford are losing 2-1 against their neighbours QPR, having been 1-0 up. QPR have scored twice in the space of 5 minutes to turn that one round. So Norwich would go 4 clear at the top of the table if scores stay as they are. No, it cannot be long left in that one. There certainly isn't long left in this one. McLean's just been caught in possession, though. Coventry might not be done yet. They've played the ball back into their own half to McFadzean, who will launch it long. And Kelly chased it on the right-hand side, headed away well by Gibson. And now an opportunity for Kieran Dowell to get on the ball and release Lucas Rupp on the left-hand side. The substitute plays the ball into the penalty area. Dowell holds on to it, plays it back to Rupp on this left-hand side, level with the box. Back now to Skip. We're in stoppage time at the end of this game. Here's Yanulis. Forward to Rupp, who loses possession against Biamu, who was back defending for Coventry. But Gibson sliding to put the ball out for a throw-in. How much time have we got left at the end of this? 4 minutes. 4 minutes of stoppage time. We've had 15 seconds of that. Swansea have just gone a goal up against Nottingham Forest. So there we are. That is a late winner by the looks of it for Swansea, which keeps them well and truly in touch with Norwich City at the top of the table. The ball is back with McFadzean for Coventry, who trail 2-0. We're in stoppage time at the end of this game. Buendia and Pukki with the goals, doing the damage in the first half of St Andrews for Norwich City. They've been responsible for 14 of Norwich's 20 away league goals this season. Long ball forward from Coventry, straight through to Krul. They're fast running out of ideas, I think. And Norwich City look to have this game under control. Connor Roberts with that goal for Swansea in the 87th minute to put them in front against Nottingham Forest. So that does change things again in the promotion race. Still a long, long way to go in it. A lot of football to be played, but Norwich City can only do their bit. This is a bit of a far cry from their last away performance at Swansea, it must be said. Yanulis defending well, getting the ball to Skip on halfway. Skip plays the ball across to Kenny McLean, and it's played forward there to Rupp, who's knocked it out towards the right-hand side, and Max Aarons, who will come forward. Still, even this late in the game, Max Aarons has got plenty of energy left to come forward. Doesn't miss many minutes of football, does he, Max Aarons? Every league game he started this season. And now Norwich will try and shuffle their way forward. Slightly careless pass. They've given the ball away. Coventry have it. We've still got a couple of minutes of the stoppage time to be played at St Andrews. Norwich are in front. If score stay as they are, Norwich would still have a 4-point lead at the top of the table. They will be 5 clear of Swansea, who will be third, but Swansea have got 2 games in hand because they didn't play at the weekend. Ball goes towards the left-hand side now for Coventry as they look to try and just get one back in stoppage time here. Surely too much for them to do to draw anything from this game now. Ostergaard coming forward from the centre of defence. Good tackle from Skip. But Hamer brings the ball under control. He slips as he does so. Norwich just turned to have a packed defence, searching ball into the penalty area. Nobody gets a touch. It goes behind for a goal kick. And Norwich have just about got this one done now, haven't they, Darren, by the looks of it? 2-0 up. We've got, a couple of minutes of the stoppage time to go, if that. And the referee, we're going to see 2 more changes coming on for Norwich City now. Alexander Tetty is going to replace Skip, and Adam Eder is going to come on, probably for Pukki as well. So Daniel Farquhar is just making sure he absolutely kills any sort of momentum off in this game now. And actually, they've managed it well in the second half here, haven't they, Norwich? Not too much has happened in the second half, but they're already 2-0 up, so they didn't need too much to happen. Pukki off, Eder on as well, just to confirm that.
Yeah, just look at these substitutions, Chris, as well. And back in the day, I know they don't do it anymore in terms of appearance money, but that would be what we'd be warming up in front of the manager in this situation. Make sure you get on for the last 30 seconds or a minute. I remember doing it myself, doing star jumps in front of Mike Walker to get myself on the pitch as a young lad, get my little bonus for the week, brilliant win bonus.
You're worn out by the time you go on the pitch then, aren't you? That's the trouble.
Yeah, but you had to get on as it is brilliant because you literally 5 minutes before you see all the subs start warming up in front of the manager.
Now, Aarons and Eder trying to get forward on the right-hand side for Norwich City. Ball's gone out of play. Coventry throw. Barely enough time to break sweat for those players that have just come on. Tetty and Eder for Norwich City. But when Norwich play on Saturday, barring any injuries that we don't know about or illnesses between now and then, you wouldn't be surprised to see the same 11 once again. As Rupp heads the ball forward, looking for Eder. He can't quite get there. Coventry will clear. 2-0 to Norwich in very much the closing seconds of this game. Zimmerman doing well there initially to just prevent Coventry from coming forward. Then it's a high looping ball. Eder trying to get himself underneath it. He can't. In fact, the whistle's gone. A free kick has been given to Coventry just inside their own half. We've had the 4 minutes of stoppage time. Still QPR 2, Brentford 1. Swansea 1, Nottingham Forest 0. So it's certainly a good night for Norwich and a good night for Swansea as it stands. Brentford a team that looked like dropping points. But that's it for Norwich City. They've won. They've strengthened their own cause at the top of the table with a scintillating first half performance here. Coventry just couldn't live with them before half time. And there's a little shake of the head and a punch of the fists there between Daniel Farker and Mark Robbins, the two managers who have a warm-looking conversation on the side of the pitch. But Norwich did the job in the first half here. Devastating form with Timu Pukki scoring the first from an Emi Buendia pass. Buendia converting the second from a Timu Pukki pass. And not much happened in the second half. Norwich City managed the game well. Coventry gave it a go, had a couple of opportunities. Tim Krul made one difficult save. But really, Norwich City had this game won in the first half. A clean sheet, 2 goals. Pukki and Buendia now responsible for 14 of Norwich's 20 away goals this season between them, but they are some force in the Championship. And that, Darren Eadie, is pretty much as good as it gets away from home in the Championship, isn't it? Well, what a job well done from Norwich City.
Yeah, it was. And looking at Mark Robbins' reaction as he's talking to Daniel Farker, and I'm looking at him thinking, what is he saying? And I can almost lip read him saying, we couldn't get near today. It's one of those things we knew he was just beaten by the better team. It wasn't his team not being good enough. It was just the quality of the opposition. And that about summed it up. It was a thoroughly professional away performance. They did all the hard work in the first half in terms of getting themselves in front. And I'm a bit loath to say